Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
I had a hard day and it's a long way back to my home. Turn the radio on, I'm hearing my friend Lizzie pretend that their voice counts, but nothing amounts to anything until I hear it from you.
Frank, Hayes, Lauren, and RJ, The Frangie Show starts now on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, welcome in. Glad you're along for the ride on a Tuesday installment of the program. Our Tuesdays, as always, are brought to you by our friends at the Nimnick family of dealerships. That's Nimnick Chevrolet on Cassett, Nimnick Buick GMC on Phillips Highway. My buddy Billy Nimnick, Lee Nimnick, all those Nimnicks, they do a fantastic job. Been buying my cars there since 1982, and I'll keep right on doing it. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carlisle, and Lauren Brooks. R.J. Saunders with us. Spoke to the Chomp and Chompers today, did you?
I did.
That's
really appreciate it.
It's a great group, isn't it?
It is a great group. We had a great time. It's at the River Club, so
Yep.
you get a great look at the city, which is so exciting because you get a really good perspective of the blank slate that's there to be built. And but it's a great group. It's split pretty much right down the middle, Florida State.
Yeah.
And met some great new friends and had a wonderful time.
Who's better, you or Blue?
Blue.
Okay.
And Greg McGarity also spoke, and he was better than both
So you were
of us.
yeah.
I was third.
So that
I
was
kind of
ranking.
went in knowing I'd be third.
Yeah.
I was worried there might be a surprise speaker that might knock me off the podium.
See if there were.
But I went in thinking bronze, and bronze is what I attained.
See, what I would think is if it was you, McGarity, and Blue, I would think McGarity first, and y'all would both tie for like fifth. That's how I.
I think that'd be a fair assessment.
That's how I had it. So.
But yeah, it was fun. We had a great time and wonderful group.
That's a fun group, and I know you guys do a great job. Brick does a great job talking Knowles, and you do a great job. Lamb and I used to do that thing when it was at the Tree Steakhouse.
Oh wow!
So back in the day.
Yeah, they were going. It's like the 36th year.
Yeah,
they've really got a great tradition,
so
and
very cool.
Yeah, awesome
stuff. All right, a lot to talk about today on the program. I said this during the handoff with Joe and Mia and Matt. I was talking to my buddy Mark Vandermeer earlier today, the play-by-play voice of the Texans. He made an interesting point to me. He thinks this is the most important, the most significant Jags-Texans game of all time. They've played this will be the 44th meeting. He thinks this is the most important one ever. He says it's biggest one ever. You agree with that? Nobody would know the Texans better than him.
I would have to because, I can't think of one that would be more impactful. I mean, it's basically going to decide the division. It's not Week 18, but we're close enough that I think if the Jaguars lose, I still think they can win the division. I almost think it's an elimination game for Houston in terms of winning the division. Now they may get in as a wild card, but I can't see them coming back down 2 games with 5 to play. I just don't see. I don't think the Jaguars are going to lose 2 games, and even if they lose 2 games, that means Houston would have to win out. I don't see that happening. So yeah, I think you can absolutely make a case because it's such a low bar. I mean, I can't even think of a game that I would remotely say challenges this one.
Yeah, and I would say, and to that end, one of the reasons for that, Lauren, is that the Jags haven't held up their end over the years. I mean, the Texans won the division, was it 5 years in a row? Something like that, right? 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
And the Texans,
they kind of owned the post-Colts Peyton Manning.
They really did. When Deshaun was playing well, J.J. Watt in the heyday, they were winning the division every year, but the Jags weren't the team competing with them.
Yeah, that's the key to all of this is it's hard to have an important game when one of the 2 teams has been as bad as the Jaguars have been. And in 2017, when the Jaguars won the division, I don't think the Texans were as good. I'm trying to think back. Was that the Deshaun Watson lung game when he had to be bussed here? The one that was here in Jacksonville?
Then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was somewhere in then. But I don't and the Texans had won the division the year before, and they won the 2 years after. So the Texans were good at that point in time, but I don't remember there being a Jaguars-Texans game in 2017 of significance. And before that, yeah, the Colts really owned the division, in the early years.
So a very big game. Other than the Ravens, is this the toughest one left?
I think it would have to be. I mean, I was shocked in looking at the numbers for Houston, how lethal they are offensively. They're fourth in the league in offense.
Yeah, they have a good team.
And total yards. I mean, there's not a lot of fluke to this.
Fourth in the league in offense.
Yeah, and they're outstanding on third down. They're 7th on third down offensively. To have a rookie quarterback and a first-time head coach and be that efficient, moving the chains on the money down. And they're good against the run. They're third in the league in yards per carry allowed, so they're 8th in total against the run, but 3rd in yards per play, which is a better indicator. So this is it's absolutely a challenge. I feel a little worse about the game now, having broken it down further in terms of the metrics of it. I still like the Jaguars in the game because I think they have the mental edge in this game, having lost the first one so lopsided. And again, that doesn't always carry the day, but I think the Jaguars, I don't think they were ready for the first game. I think they're ready for this game, and they've got way more film on C.J. Stroud, and I think they've got way more of a eagerness to play this game. And so I think it's going to be a fantastic game, though. And Houston really does appear to be on the precipice of having something pretty special.
Isn't it crazy that you almost feel better that this game is on the road the way this season has gone versus the Ravens? Yes, you get at home, but at home hasn't necessarily meant a whole lot to this point in the season. So you almost are like, yeah, the Jaguars are going to win because that's what they do on the road.
Yeah, but there's some truth to that. But I think the reason they lost at home is they just lost at home. I don't think being at home cost them. And I think the Jags crowd was really good Sunday now. I thought that home crowd really helped the cause. I thought, I could hear it through you guys are in a glass press box. I don't know if you hear it as much. Our booth is open. Now I've got headphones on, but I could really hear it. Could you guys tell it in the press box?
Yeah, absolutely, because the Titans didn't bring a big contingent.
Right.
So
and the Jags really sold their tickets.
It really felt like purely a Jaguars crowd for the most part. And yeah, it was an awesome environment. I'm curious to see the environment. Did Mark say anything about what he expects the crowd to be like? Because apparently it was disappointing last week against the Cardinals.
Right, it was.
Now, obviously, this is basically for Houston to stay alive in the divisional race, and you've got to be super excited about C.J. Stroud if you're a football fan in Houston, which is basically everybody that lives in that city. So, but I've always been surprised in the games that I've covered there.
Yeah.
It's never struck me as a tough place to play.
It's a great stadium. It's a great.
Oh
stadium,
yeah.
But it's never been rocking. I hear you. Even at the beginning, and we'd see the way J.J. Watt would come out. He'd do his thing when he came out. We played him a lot in the Battle Red games.
The Hurricane game,
Yeah.
It was electric.
Yeah, for that
because of
reason.
what they'd gone through. But for the most part,
yeah, I agree with that.
It seems like it's a tepid crowd.
Well, and I think this game will be, to that end, will be a measuring point or a measuring stick for the fans. Look, the fans, the fans are a little bit disgusted with what they had become. Nobody liked Nick Caserio when he got there. Bill O'Brien alienated everybody. The Deshaun stuff they really hated that. First of all, Deshaun said he didn't want to play there anymore, and then all the off-field stuff with the massage therapist and all that. So they went through after a good time, a bad time. And so I'm not sure the fans have come back. It'll be interesting to see if they bounce back this week because suddenly, listen, this game, I'm not going to say this game's for the division. That's too strong. But, boy, it's such an impactful divisional game when you look at all the stakes. We're going to get into those in a minute. I'm going to start the program today. But I will tell you, we'll see, Lauren, if they're back, if the fans are back and if the fans are more committed. Because I agree with Hayes' take. There's some question, or your question, I should say. There's some doubt about that.
Yeah, it shocks me that the crowd wasn't better last week because there's something there to absolutely believe in, and that's the franchise quarterback. I think at this point, with all the games that C.J. Stroud has played, you can pretty much be convinced that he is a franchise quarterback. So I'm surprised. And to the point of the Jaguars crowd, I could clearly understand the fans yelling, "Ref, you suck," at one point, and then screaming, "Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence."
But I'm telling you, with the crowd doing what it's supposed to do, which is be loud when the other guy's trying to snap it on 3rd and long, I thought it was the best crowd of the year for that. I really did. Now, look, the Chiefs and the 49ers both had a lot of traveling fans here. And so, but I really did. I thought it was that. So, all right, we got a lot to do. We're going to start with some Jaguar talk. Evan Ingram is going to be the topic of your one-on-one today. We'll certainly see how the tight end thinks about this gigantic game. We'll talk some Jags and Texans and how big the game is and how much it really means. We'll get to that coming up in the program. Eagles-Chiefs, what a bizarre game that was. And that kind of is the new NFL. Tom Brady made a comment I'm going to get into today about thinking the NFL is mediocre. I don't know that I believe that, but it's lower scoring than it's been. That's the metric. it's lower scoring than it's been in a while, I think. So we'll certainly get into that a little. A lot of fun stuff to talk about. I'm going to make my point about coaches firing again, not as much about just the Gators, but about in general. A lot to get to today on the program. We're glad you're with us. It's a Tuesday installment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
If you were given a chance to pick this week's games, could you pick them?
Of course.
It's 1010XL's weekly pick'em contest. You could win a barbecue feast from ABBQ at 1010XL.com. Brought to you by MyBookie and J. David Tax Law.
It's time for the holidays, which means the Chevrolet Red Tag sales event is here. Well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% APR financing and no payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickup. Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be Northeast Florida's Silverado truck headquarters. With nearly 200 Silverados in stock, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Visit nimnickchevy.com or head to Park Street in Castle. Chevy, find new roads.
I had a question about my insurance the other day, so I called my new State Farm agent. And would you believe I talked to the same person who remembered my name? They said that was called service. And then they asked if my dog Max was over his cold. They called that service too. And then they helped me find ways to save on my home and auto coverage. I asked State Farm what they called that. They said service.
Call State Farm agent Mike Tousell in Jacksonville at 425-4100.
Have you been approached by a potential buyer or investor for your business? You need to know what your business is worth and know the key value drivers that buyers and investors find most attractive. Maybe you're considering a full or partial sale. Let Patty Otterson, Kristen Vanez, and Caleb Kronik at Otterson Wealth Advisors guide you through the process. Visit OttersonAdvisors.com. Otterson Wealth Advisors, your goals, our expertise. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
Look, Thanksgiving is almost here. It's time to get that home repair project you've been putting off done before the family comes over. From the honey-do list to bathroom remodeling, get First Coast Home Pros to do it for you. FirstCoastHomePros.com.
There are so many ways you can catch me.
Catch Mia O'Brien on XL Primetime weekdays.
On Helmets and Heels Tuesday nights.
And on 1010XL's video and social channels. All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
It's Mo Time with Mo Bryan.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, my choice for home pest defense, and according to the reviews, the absolute best service, quality, and value in North Florida. You too can bid farewell to bothersome pests and invite serenity into your home. Just go to jaguars.com/sweepstakes and enter the SWAT That Kit contest for a chance to win 3 years of free pest control if the Jaguars block a field goal at home this season. Only from Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Malfunctions in your electrical panel can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8-Sparky. Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Are you an experienced automotive technician and tired of working for employers who put profit over people? Then come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road and get trained on how to diagnose and rebuild today's complex transmissions. See how we're different. Get traction on your career and come to Action.
Equal opportunity employer.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
The shoulder is one of the body's largest joints, prone to a variety of injuries and conditions that cause pain. Dr. George Bari here, and at Bari Orthopedics, we know an active lifestyle can lead to serious joint pain. We can help with an accurate diagnosis and treatment for a full spectrum of shoulder injuries, from arthritis, bursitis, tendonitis, or rotator cuff and labral tearing. Bari Orthopedics can help. If you or a loved one suffers from shoulder pain, don't hesitate to call or log on to BariOrthopedics.com.
Hey babes, the toilet is running.
Really? Oh, where's it going?
Well, Mr. Funny Man, it's going to our water bill, increasing our monthly costs, which are already sky high. Not to mention the absolute waste of water.
Yeah, okay then. I'll call Duck Rooter.
Toilet running? Clogged drain or leaky faucet? We have your solution. Duck Rooter, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
904-862-6769.
Do you love sports? Do you also love wings? Enjoy the best wings in Jacksonville in Miramar, Mandarin, and Oakleaf at Players Grill. Watch your favorite teams and enjoy burgers, pizza, salads, and of course, wings. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you spend a lot of time talking about diamonds, but what about some of the colored stones we see?
Frank, when you talk about colored stones, there are literally hundreds of varieties and species in the gem kingdom. As certified gemologists, we're trained gemologically on the identification of each of these and can separate the man-made synthetics and imitations from the real thing. But at Underwoods, we can go to the next step. At Underwoods, we're active buyers of loose-colored stones in the world markets, so we have an understanding of the values of colored stones as they relate back to the various qualities. In fact, just like diamonds, we buy most of our colored stones loose, then create the pieces of jewelry to hold the gems. You can be assured not only of the authenticity and quality of our colored stone jewelry, but also of the value. So if you're in the market for a fine quality emerald, sapphire, ruby, aquamarine, amethyst, citrine, tourmaline, peridot, or any other gemstone, come by and see us at Underwoods.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnicht Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941.
I think RJ's playing that because he knows it's going to be a hot Saturday night in Gainesville, Florida. You'll be on hand for that.
I will be. I can't wait.
It's
It's been a while since I've seen an FSU Florida game in the Swamp. It's been probably a good 12 years.
I mean, you telling me we got the backup bowl?
The backup bowl.
Huh? Brooks, the backup bowl?
Yeah. Hey, downtown Max Brown showed his mobility.
I've tried.
Watch out, world.
You guys didn't listen. I tried to tell you in the spring game, don't sleep on downtown Max Brown.
Yeah. I will say.
And by the way, just for the record, I did say that.
I think we were scarred from the bowl game against Oregon State.
Jack Miller?
When you questioned us, what if Jack Miller's good so often that we then believed that no backup quarterback from Florida could ever be successful.
I will say this. It's the backup bowl, but there is a gigantic, juicy W out there for one of these schools.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody is going to be thrilled.
I agree.
Come 11:30 Saturday night.
Yeah. By the way, and we'll get to. I'll tell you what. Let's hold up because I want to get to the Jaguars. But I will tell you, I'll go ahead and do this. I don't bury the lead. I'm scooping myself here. I don't think there's a chance Florida could win that game. I think the number ought to be 14. Not a chance.
Oh, that surprises me.
Yeah. I
think Florida has a chance.
And sometimes we go opposite homer. You're such a homer that you want them to win, so then you can't see. You know what I mean? Sometimes, so maybe I'm not doing it on purpose, but maybe I'm psychologically going opposite homer because we do that. So
I'm surprised you're doing that because you've been supportive of Napier and they've been in every game.
Yeah, I know.
But he doesn't have Mertz anymore.
But I think FSU's really good. I think and they don't have Mertz, and that's a big part of this for me.
Yeah.
I mean, they got downtown Max Brown,
right?
Who I love saying the name,
yeah.
But it's the guy that's played 4 plays, and so we'll talk about it later. We'll get to it,
sure.
but I got a lot of thoughts about that. So by the way, prove me wrong, orange and blue. Okay, please, I'm here for it. If you prove me wrong,
I think it'll say a lot about FSU if they go into the Swamp and kill Florida.
Yeah, and I don't.
I mean, with Tate Rodemaker making his first career start
I think the
not having played in that kind of an environment all year. I mean, keep in mind their toughest road game this season was at Clemson.
Yeah.
That was a noon kick. I mean, this is going to be a totally different animal in terms of what they're going to encounter Saturday night. Again, Florida certainly has many weaknesses, but I'd be surprised if Florida gets killed in the game. Killed would surprise me.
We will see. We'll talk about it. Let's start with the Jags. Biggest Texans-Jags game ever, Lauren. In 44 tries, they've played 44 times. This will be the big one.
Yeah, and I think if you're looking at the mentality of the two teams, I think it's pretty even.
Yeah.
I think the Texans feel incredible about themselves, and I think the Jaguars have already forgotten about that loss to the 49ers. They feel good about the offense. They've already felt good about the defense all season, and they're feeling confident. So I think there's going to be fireworks in this game. I think it's going to be first one to probably like 30, somewhere around there is going to have to – I think you're going to have to score 30 to win.
Yeah, I think, in my mind, I think the Jaguars are really good. I have not wavered from that at all. So me being nervous about this one and thinking this is a toss-up game is not, I was wrong about the Jaguars. They might even be better than I thought because their defense is better than I thought. And I think the offense is going to hit stride. They're 7-3, and those 3 losses are to the Kansas City Chiefs, the San Francisco 49ers, and a Texans team that was better than anybody thought. That's 3 good football teams that have beaten them. I think the Jags are good. My trepidation with wondering whether they're going to win or not, I think the Texans are really good. I think the Texans are – now the Texans have played some stinkers. How you lose to Carolina, almost lost last week to a team that's really not very good. But
and lost to the Falcons.
And lost to the Falcons, who are very
So the Jaguars have better losses than the Texans.
No, there's no question.
And I would say the Jaguars have better wins than the Texans do.
Yeah, but it'll be fun. And nonetheless, the Jags have some guys that'll impact this thing. Evan Ingram is kind of the glue, isn't he? He's a guy that's been the glue no matter what else goes on. Evan's going to catch his 4 for 68, his 5 for 72. He doesn't have a touchdown yet, but he's certainly been a good player for him, a reliable pass catcher, a spokesman in that locker room, and he is the subject of this Hayes Carlyon one-on-one.
We're pleased to be joined with Jaguars tight end Evan Ingram here on 1010XL 92.5 FM, and I can't thank you enough for your time. You're always so kind. I really appreciate it.
I enjoy it every time.
Well, big win yesterday. Congratulations. What stood out when you broke down the offensive performance?
We just executed all of our keys of victory, protected the football, finished in the red zone, converted on third downs, drew penalties downfield. We just played a complete game as offense, and we can play like that with our defense and their capability and special teams as well, making plays. That's the goal, to kind of be a team that can be unstoppable.
How great was it having Zay back out there?
It was awesome. Zay brings a lot. Not just within the lines and his playmaking ability and his ability to get open and make plays downfield, but just his leadership, his energy. Seven's a big part of this locker room, so he's battled through a lot to get back, and it was good to have him back out there.
Trevor really utilized his mobility. How pleasing was it to see that?
So, it's an element of his game that just adds to his how good he is. He's obviously a great passer, smart, make his reads, and great arm talent, but he's also capable to make guys miss and get downfield and run the ball. And we had 2 rushing touchdowns yesterday, so that's big for us and big for him too, coming back and kind of fighting through a lot of pain and playing for us and getting through that. And now he's kind of getting back to himself.
Evan, what did you take out of the first Houston game in terms of things that you can apply to the rematch here Sunday?
Yeah, definitely can't take these guys lightly. We weren't the team that we are now. Last time we played them, but credit to them. They came in here and played a great game and punched us in the mouth, and we couldn't respond. And we've gotten a lot better through then. We've also been punched in the mouth once again since then. So it's part of the season, but it's going to be a good matchup this weekend. They're playing well, and we're playing well, we're gonna have to take the fight to them.
You guys have done an outstanding job in the rematch with divisional teams going back to last year, and you did it obviously with the Colts again this season and sweeping them. What does the staff do? What do the players do well in terms of taking what you learned from the first meeting and applying it to the second?
It's just our game plans and what we studied, the things that they were successful against us with, like maybe the first time they played. They're probably going to see it again. Have better plans for it, come up with new ways to attack them, and just the magnitude of the game. These division games, they mean a lot to us. They have a lot of, a lot on the line with these games, and the way Houston's playing and the way we're playing, and we're both at the top of the division. It's a game that has a lot to fight for as well. So we just do a good job of setting the expectations, setting the standard for these games, and understanding that these are rivalry games and these games mean a little bit more.
Evan, your numbers are certainly sensational so far. Are you happy with the season individually that you're having?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm always going to be the type of guy always can be doing things better, find small things to improve on, and but just trying to be reliable, be consistent in the run game and in the pass game, and helping my team win. We're winning games. Yesterday we did a really good job moving the ball, and if I can just be a part of that and execute and perfect my role, that's my goal.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving part of the meal?
The candied yams with the mac and cheese, just that combo. And the greens, maybe somewhere on the plate. Those three sides. I'm a sides guy, so those. I make some mean candy yams, so I'm excited to do that. And my fiance, she has amazing mac and cheese, and it's gonna be nice.
Oh, good stuff. Well, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for your time.
You as well. Appreciate you.
Appreciate Evan Ingram's time. 59 catches, 475 yards this year, and Frank, to your point, no touchdowns yet, so he's due. Hopefully, he gets a couple at NRG Stadium on Sunday.
Yeah, and I think this too. I really do think this. That this is not the importance of this, the enormity of this, is not lost on the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars understand, and will respond in such a way. I think they will play very well in this game. I would be very surprised if the Jags don't play. You don't get their A game. I think they found it. I think they found their rhythm. They had the one stinker. They had it last year too, and were really good after that. I'll bet you see a really good Jags performance on Sunday.
I agree with you, and I do think Evan Ingram will be a big part of the offense. I think he will get a touchdown. In looking at one of the Texans' losses to the Falcons, both Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith had really big days, and so certainly I think it's Evan's time to get that touchdown.
Yeah, the biggest concern about the Texans have their tough nose. Is Dameon Pierce going to play? By the way, he didn't play last week.
Yeah, he's been out. But I almost wonder. Yeah, I almost wonder if he plays, if he hasn't lost that job to Singletary.
Yeah, he might have.
I mean, he'll obviously, if he's active, he'll get the ball some. But I almost wonder if Singletary has to be their focus in terms of the ground game more than Pierce.
Yeah, but either way,
I think Greg Knox is coaching the Texans.
I was going to say, have they
deliberately
signed
not
Malik
giving
Davis
him
yet?
the ball.
They signed
Greg
Malik
Knox
Davis.
is the interim coordinator somewhere, right?
He is, yeah. Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, yeah. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, and I heard the starting tailback is not getting many looks.
Yeah, Naquan Wright got 18 carries last week.
That's exactly from Mississippi State. The problem with them is Stroud. The problem is, look, we might be looking at Burrow and Mahomes and the next great quarterback. That's the problem. We saw it here one time. Now, look, he threw 3 interceptions last week, so he's human.
Finally.
But I mean, remember, that Georgia team was generational, man. They were a great team. Stroud almost, if a guy makes a 50-yard field goal, Stroud beats that Georgia team.
Yep.
He beats Georgia. Nobody's beating Georgia. But he was one miss. That was a long field goal, wasn't like some chip shot.
It was more Ryan Day's fault because they got to the Georgia 40 with like a minute and a half left and then sat on it.
And you got CJ, and you have CJ Stroud.
Yeah, you're moving up and down the field. I will never know why he wasn't more aggressive in that situation.
Yeah, and so that's the problem with Sunday is the guy's really good, and by the way, he's a rookie. He's a problem for a while. Now, guess what? So is Trevor Lawrence. So good luck, Tennessee and Indy. I mean, honestly. Good luck,
because
team. Good luck, rest of the AFC.
Will Levis is not this.
I don't think so. You know, it's funny. We all got, and I'm guilty, Lauren. I got caught up in watching the tape of the Falcons game. Thought he was pretty good, and he might be pretty good in time. In fairness to the guy, he just got there, but the other games haven't looked like that Falcons game looked.
Well, the thing with Stroud is, superstar is clearly on the table.
Right.
It's not clearly on the table for Levis or Richardson at this point, but for Stroud. Superstar is absolutely on the table.
That's well said. That's well said. It's way too early to know, but it's a possibility. Yeah, you could well said.
And don't compare Stroud's rookie season to Trevor's rookie season and go, well, Stroud is clearly much better than Lawrence. Like there's so many different variables there.
By the way, and I'm not being a homer here, if I could have Stroud or Lawrence right now for the next 10 years, I'd take Trevor Lawrence. Now, in 2 years, I might answer that question differently. But if I answered the question today, I'm not just being a homer.
I would too.
I would take Trevor. You would too, right?
I would take Trevor Lawrence, because I think he's been through it, and we've seen him rebound from adversity, and just so I'm not willing to say I would never take.
Yeah,
CJ Stroud.
Absolutely. You can change that in 2 years.
But as of now, seeing everything that Trevor's gone through and where he's at right now, and there's nothing with Trevor Lawrence that concerns me at all. And not that
Same.
there's anything with C.J. Stroud, but I don't know him to the
It's
level.
a smaller sample size.
Yeah, and it's just the personality. I mean, I'll say this: he can't be better in that than Trevor.
No chance.
Now he might be Trevor's equal,
Yeah.
but he's not going to be better. And so, yeah, I think for me, but again, it is on the table that in 2 years, C.J. Stroud's the best quarterback in this division. It could be C.J. Stroud is, top 2 in the league and Trevor's top 4.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If he's the best quarterback in the division, that means he's probably a top 2 or 3 quarterback in the league. I mean, here's the real reality. We all thought Josh Allen at Buffalo was going to be the number 2 guy. Well, he's not. He's a good player, but he's not that. Joe Burrow might be that, but he's hurt, right? If we acknowledge that Patrick Mahomes is the best football player in the league, which I think most people would tell you, the second best quarterback, who is it? Is it Burrow? It was going to be Josh Allen. It's not him now. It was going to be Justin Herbert. It's not him now.
There's a conversation about Lamar and Tua.
Lamar for sure is in play for me. Tua, why can't I get there with Tua's good, but as far as second or third best player in the league, I can't get there. Can you?
Not there, but I think he's underrated.
Yeah, I'm probably right. So the point being,
But Trevor's right there.
But Trevor Lawrence and C.J. Stroud both might be in that conversation in 2 years. It might you might say the top 3 quarterbacks in the league are Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, and C.J. Stroud. Now again, in fairness, Lamar's still there, and Justin Herbert's still there, and Tua's still there, and Joe Burrow's going to be healthy at some point. I know that. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. I get it. But back to Hayes' phraseology, which is perfect, on the table. That's on the table. That both Trevor Lawrence and C.J. Stroud are among the best handful of quarterbacks in the NFL at some point.
And I think this upcoming postseason, will determine a lot for Trevor, because I think the Jaguars have one of the better teams in all of the AFC. And so how far they go is going to shine a light on him, and he still has his doubters. I don't know that the Texans are built to necessarily win this postseason.
Yeah, I will stand my ground on what I've been saying all year. Every year, 7 or 8 teams can win the Super Bowl, and 24 or so cannot. And the Jags are in the 7 or 8. I'm not ready to put the Texans in the 7 or 8 yet. Now, I might feel different Monday morning.
Right.
But I'm not ready to put the Texans in the 7 or 8. Now, I might have Hayes in the 9 or 10. I might have him in the top third if we do that. But I'm not quite ready to put them in the 7 or 8 that I think could win. In my opinion, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Bengals with Burrow, the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Jaguars can all win the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles can win the Super Bowl. I think the 49ers and the Cowboys can win the Super Bowl. That's about the list for me. I think I just read 8 names. Okay, that's roughly. I don't think I missed any that I think can win the Super Bowl. So I'll do it again. Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati with a healthy Burrow, Jacksonville, Miami. Okay, those 5 in the AFC. No, I didn't mention Buffalo. Those 5 in the AFC. I think the Eagles, 49ers, and Cowboys. Those are the 8 for me that I think could win the Super Bowl. I don't have another team that I think could win the Super Bowl. I might be missing someone, but I don't have one on my mind. I don't have another that I think can win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, and I would maybe even argue that it's 6 because I can't put Miami in there despite their record. I just don't think they're physical enough, and particularly getting bad weather, that speed's going to get negated. And in Cincinnati, obviously, because of Burrow, is out for this year.
Well, that's
now,
right.
next year.
Hang on. Let me stop myself. Burrow's gone for the year. So take Cincinnati off the list. It's down to 7.
I think it might really be. I mean, again, how you view Miami. Yeah. I don't view them as a team that can win the Lombardi Trophy.
And Lions fans, not that they're listening here, but the Lions would be sitting here going, "Wait a minute, we deserve to be in this."
And you know what? You're right. I probably forgot about them because I just don't naturally think of them.
Just like people don't naturally think of Jacksonville.
That's right. If someone on Detroit Sports Radio did this list, Jacksonville's probably the one they wouldn't have had on it too. Yep. That's a fair point. But you get the point. Yeah. There's 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And that is it. And I don't think the Texans are in that 7 or 8 today. Again, I could change my mind Sunday at 5:00. But right now I don't think they're on that list. I think they're close. I think this is going to be a heck of a ball game, but I don't think they're on that list yet. We'll take a break. Florida FSU talk after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
It's high school football playoff play-by-play.
It was an unpredictable start to the season, and it's turned into the chase for their 12th state title. The Bulls Bulldogs move to the regional finals against Bishop Moore. Friday at 7 on 92.5 FM.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. When deciding what lawyer to trust with your car accident or injury case, the most reliable way is reviews and results. You want to be treated well, and you want a great result. Woolsey Morcom's reviews are through the roof, and I challenge any law firm to compare results. Clients continue switching to us from other firms because we continue delivering. Recently, a car accident client left a big firm, and Woolsey Morcom got her 10 times what they said it was worth. If you want to be treated right and want great results, call Woolsey Morcom, 638-4235.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. There's a reason so many of my friends and our listeners have had Stanley Pools build their pools and now maintain their pools, because Stanley Pools truly cares about their customers. Stanley Pools is locally owned and has been serving our community for 35 years. For all of your pool needs, call Stanley Pools at 269-7277. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools. 269-7277, or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com.
If you're getting engaged this holiday season, celebrating an anniversary, birthday, or shopping early for the holidays,
don't miss Beards Diamond's incredible 43rd anniversary sale.
Everything store-wide is on sale up to 43% off.
Shop now in the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Did you know that all graduates of Local 234's apprenticeship program are licensed journeymen? That means all plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC techs will have hundreds of hours of experience and have passed the Jacksonville City Licensed Journeyman exam. They're the best trained and safest skilled tradespeople in the industry. Don't leave yourself exposed to inadequate workmanship or even danger. Always hire a licensed journeyman. Local 234. Make the right connection. Equal opportunity employer.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. Thanks to the coaches and the schools who believe in our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is head coach Ferland Dormery of Trinity Christian Academy High School. Our athletic program selected Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to work with our state championship football team and will continue to use them. We recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Bridging the gap between the First Coast and the swamp.
Gators.
I'm Taylor Dahl. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts, on 1010XL.
Attention golfers, Hidden Hills Golf Club has a little bit of something for everyone. So whether you want to practice, play, or just relax with friends at the Hills Grill, Hidden Hills is the place for you. If you love golf, check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World, simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, with American Electrical, it's wired right at a fair price. Call American Electric at 737-7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Trevor Lawrence was spectacular in his performance versus Tennessee. The superstar QB recorded 262 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. And he'd also add 2 rushing touchdowns in what was a phenomenal outing. Lawrence's mastery on the field reminded the critics to keep their opinions, because he's going to continue finding ways to be legendary. Trevor Lawrence is your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
These fall months are the perfect time to make sure that your roof has not been damaged after the storm season. So schedule a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get 15% off your roof replacement and repairs. Plus, there's flexible financing options available. This offer expires November 30th and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Universal Roof. Rock Resurrection Tour, starring Theory of a Dead Man and Skillet. Friday, November 24th, Daly's Place. Same night, same stage. With special guest Saint Asonia. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Theory of a Dead Man. Skillet. Together live.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daly's Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daly's Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daly's Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daly's Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Trayvon Walker has picked up 1.5 sacks over the last 3 weeks for the Jaguars defense. Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman a guest this morning of Jaguars Today on how he thinks Trayvon Walker is playing.
Right now he's playing solid football. That's it. Okay, is there anything wrong with that? No. Is there anything great about that? No. He's playing good, solid football. He's pressing the pocket. He's always been good against the run, and I think that's exactly what he needs to continue to do. Is he a dominant player right now in this league? No. Is he a really good football player? Yes.
Jeff Lageman this morning with Jaguars Today. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. And now, this week's Scholar Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
Welcome back to the Fringe Show. It is time for our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week, and Isabella Lachinova is joining us here from Terry Parker. Isabella, really, I want to say welcome to Jacksonville because you haven't been here that long.
No, I haven't, but thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Certainly well-deserved. Let's talk first about your swimming career. What age did you start swimming?
I think I was around 6 years old when I first started swimming.
Okay, and what was your best stroke back then?
Pretty much floating. I wasn't a swimmer.
But you learned pretty quick.
I did, yes.
Okay, and tell us now your best strokes.
My best strokes are 100 breast and a 100 free, but last year it was really much, I love distance, so I did 200 free, but this year, I don't know what happened, so 100 free I went back down to.
But you're involved in a lot of sports.
Yes.
I mean, swimming, soccer, volleyball, softball. Tell us about why so many sports and why you like them so much.
My mom has always taught me to go outside and do things. Like I was always a kid in the dirt rather than the inside on my device like kids are these days. So back in elementary school, that was when I really tried out for all these sports. So swim, as you know, and then I did softball, but I left that, but then I came back to it this year. And then soccer, I started that in middle school, but I left that too, and so then I came back this year again.
Very cool.
And then volleyball, I really loved during COVID. So then I joined 9th grade year, but since everything overlapped with swim and volleyball, I had to pick which one. I chose swim overall.
And swim's the one you like the best.
Yes, I love swim.
Why do you like that the best?
I think it's because I've been doing it for so long that it's just something that comes naturally to me. So I'm really good at it. So when it does come to meets or anything, I just love swimming the events. But volleyball, I know it's a lot of teamwork, but I love being individually by myself. So I've always been like an individual swimmer rather than a relay swimmer.
You told us a great story in the break about time management and how you had to go about that process of learning that. Can you share a little bit of that with the listeners?
So in 10th grade, I had a really bad fallout. The first semester, I was struggling really hard. My grades were slipping. I was getting C's, D's, and F's, and I've always managed for A's. Like I've never gotten below an A. So I had a trumpet teacher. His name's Bill Berry. He's one of my favorites. I'm still with him. He taught me that if I can't get my stuff together, that I might as well quit while I'm at it because I'm not going to get far. And I was like, okay. And I was like, how do I help then? He was like, well, time management exists. So try to manage your time, set a schedule, set a planner, get a planner. So I was like, okay. So I use my phone, but I have like my whole calendar in my phone, and I just set out my days, and that's really helped me throughout my years now.
That's really smart because you have a lot going on, not just sports. You also play trumpet in the band?
Yes, I do. I've been playing since, 5th grade? So it's been a while, but that's always been one of my biggest crutches. So with band, he also taught me with swim as well. My trumpet teacher, Mr. Berry, he taught me with swim that if I wanted to do both, that again, time management. And so with my trumpet, I've managed to get very far, and I've been into district band, regional band, almost went to all states. I've been playing for the Marywood Wind Band Celebration. I've been playing for the Marywood College itself.
Wow.
Yes, it's a lot, but I love it so much. So I'm always grateful for everything that comes my way.
Since you've been here a year, so tell us about Terry Parker, going to Terry Parker High, some of your friends, teammates. Have you enjoyed it?
When I first came here, I did not enjoy it. It was honestly, it was just such a culture shock because I came from a predominantly white area to a predominantly with people of color, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I don't know if it's because I've been subjected to not being around so many people of color and being so weird, but when I first came here, everyone was so mean to me. I was getting glares, and so I was like, I'm not joining any sports. I'm not doing any of this. And so I was like, just try. And I was like, okay. So I joined swim, and that made me break out of my shell. And then the people in swim told me about a program called International Baccalaureate, and they were like, oh, you should join. You should go in. I was like, oh, like, what's it about? And I joined it, and I'm not saying I regret it, but oh my gosh, everything that's happening there. There's so much work and with sports and everything, and I'm not saying I'm behind or anything, but I feel like everything could be managed a lot easier.
What are your college plans?
I've applied to around 18 schools, and I know that's like, oh my gosh, that's excessive, but I have like this weird fear of not getting in anywhere, and I've got 10 acceptances back, but I do want to major in communications because with one of the clubs I'm in, World Affairs, we had a speaker, Maria Ressa. She was a 2021 Nobel Peace Prize winner, and she was speaking to us about all of her experiences, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to do this. So me and my mom spoke. Me and my mom and my stepdad, we all spoke, and she was like, you would be a really good public speaker. I was like, I think you're right, but I don't think I want to do the public speaking. I think I want to go into PR, so I do really want to go into public relations.
Very cool. And you've got a soccer game tonight?
I do, against Englewood at 5:30 at home.
Right, that's very
Frank's alma mater.
That's my alma mater. So
Is it?
But congratulations on all this. Hopefully the college works out. And you want to swim in college, right?
I do, yes.
That's very exciting stuff. All right, very good. Well, Isabella Lachinova is our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week from Terry Parker High. She plays volleyball, softball, soccer, and she's going to play soccer against Englewood today, and a very good swimmer as well. Congratulations. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
All right, Isabella Lachinova stops by. She is from Terry Parker High School, our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. And it's good to have her stop by. We talked earlier, by the way, about Florida FSU. I said it's going to be a Florida FSU segment. we're up against it. But I want to talk about, because Hayes Carline's convinced the Gators are going to win by 2 touchdowns, I think is what you said earlier.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 3.
Was it something like that? It was something,
maybe 3.
I clearly heard that.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. I think he's going to win by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think that's kind of the plan for Florida. I want to talk a little bit about that coming up in a bit. And I'm going to get back onto my coaching firing rant.
Good.
It's not about just the Gators. It's just, it's a kind of a more evergreen rant. That's next. Stay with us on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Great tires are an important part of a good drive.
That's a great drive right there.
And Tire Outlet brings you the drive of the game.
We don't make mistakes and not gonna stop us.
On 1010XL. Tire Outlet. Wholesale prices, premium service.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
The deal of the year is here at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Mia here, and right now you could save thousands off original MSRP on pre-owned 2023 models, like a Toyota Corolla LE starting at just $18,881. A 2023 Toyota Camry LE or RAV4 LE as low as $23,881. You can even get a 2023 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road 4x4 as low as $38,881. Shop arlingtontoyota.com and save thousands today.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Stop wasting your money on bottled water and call Duck Duck Rooter. We can install a new water filtration system and softener at your home or business. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and give us a call today for a quote. DuckDuckRooter.com.
This is Hayes Carline for SkyLife Elite. Are you tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers? Call my friends at SkyLife Elite. Consider using private charter flights for your next adventure. Yes, you can afford it. Make your own schedule. Fly direct. Drive your car to Craig Airport and get directly on the plane. SkyLife Elite can make that happen. Call 490-9332, go to flyskylife.com, and find them on social media. Fly SkyLife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline from MyBookie. It's giving season, and that means MyBookie has given us an incredible bonus offer this week, 110% deposit match up to $1,100. Deposit $1,000 to receive the full amount. It's MyBookie's biggest sportsbook bonus ever, 110% deposit match on your first deposit. You heard it right. You can more than double your money before you even bet by making your deposit with MyBookie. Just sign up using promo code 1010XL. The minimum deposit amount is $50 to receive the bonus, and this is a bonus offer that will not be listed on the website. It's the biggest sportsbook bonus in MyBookie's history. This is a big moment for them and for you as a listener. The offer is only available for 7 days, Monday through Sunday this week. The code 1010XL will revert to the previous offer. Don't sleep on this special bonus offer, 110% with MyBookie.
Hear the Florida Gators all season on 1010XL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's a primetime showdown you don't want to miss when your Jaguars take on the Bengals. This highly anticipated Monday night matchup is also our My Cause, My Cleats game, when your favorite players get to champion causes close to their hearts by wearing custom-designed cleats. Plus, don't forget to wear your darkest gear to help us black out the stands and defend the bank. A limited number of seats do remain, so head to Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
At Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville, we want you to ride in luxury.
2023 and 2024 XT5s and XT6s are in stock.
With 3.9% financing plus $1,500 rebate.
You can choose from Escalades, XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s.
And the all-new, all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
Get your Cadillac dream car today.
Before you get swallowed up by the holidays, treat yourself to luxury.
Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, plus tax tag title $8.99 admin fee and Resistol.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
How much does a cloud weigh? The answer coming right up.
It's always a good idea to compare homeowners' insurance rates instead of renewing year in and year out. Log on to southernoak.com and get an instant quote in minutes.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
According to the National Geological Society, a normal cumulus cloud can weigh up to 1 million pounds, or about 500 tons.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what WindoWorld wants you to do. WindoWorld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to WindoWorld, they can't offer you the quality at the price that WindoWorld can.
And with WindoWorld, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new WindoWorld windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, WindoWorld and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with WindoWorld, and to top it off, WindoWorld windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with WindoWorld. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call WindowWorld today and get your free in-home estimate or see them online at windowworldneflorida.com.
WindoWorld, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
WindoWorld also offers energy-efficient doors.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. The season-ending injury to Florida State quarterback Jordan Travis has led many prognosticators to rule out Florida State from the college football playoff. FSU head coach Mike Norvell responded on Monday to the doubters who believe Florida State's season is over.
You never want to see anybody go down, but I can't control what anybody on the outside says about our team, but we can make our impression by how we play and how we do the things that we do. So to say that they don't hear it, no, that's not real either, right? I mean, I'm sure they hear it. Thank God the opinions of others don't dictate what our actions are going to be. This team, a year ago, nobody thought we were worth a crap, right? They proved them wrong.
It's 78 degrees at 4 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
One of the more historic rivalries in all of college football. I think it's a privilege to be an opportunity of that, for not only our players, but the entire organization. This is a game that matters 24/7, 365. We're certainly excited about being in the Swamp Saturday night, sold-out crowd. I think that's 5 straight for Gator Nation, so we're very thankful for that.
It's a Nimnicht Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941.
The comments of Billy Napier as the Seminoles come calling. Florida and Florida State, one of my favorite rivalries, really, in all of sports, and has been for since I was in school there, and it's a great rivalry, and they play at 7 o'clock. There was some. You asked a question last week about officials. It was typically in most non-conference rivalries, like interstate rivalries, Georgia Tech, and Clemson, South Carolina, and Louisville, Kentucky, all of them around the country. The road team brings its officials. In other words, one team has home field, the other team has the officials. That's the way it's always been. At Florida and FSU, in the 2003 game, is that the year it was?
That seems
the swindle in the swamp, the Gator fans like to call it. Jack, what was the guy's name? Jack
Swafford?
No, he was the
he's the
Jack.
Jack.
Remember the guy, the official that all the Gators hate? Jack Hacker could tell me right now.
Text us.
Hacker would punch me for not knowing.
Right.
Him. Hacker hates the guy. Hacker would fight the guy.
Yeah.
Jack, in the 2003. Jack.
I'm looking it up.
He was the ACC. He's the referee in the 2003. I think it was the 2003 game. where FSU
Childress.
Jack Childress. Well, FSU got all the calls. Well, I can tell you, after remember.
That was brutal.
Hacker wanted to fight the guy. Hacker right now would fight Jack Jones.
I will say from a
Hacker would go out there. He turned the hat around.
Right.
He turned the Hacker. I'm a big deal hat and fight Jack Jones right now. Right now, he'd fight it.
I understand why.
And I would take Hacker.
Yeah, I would too.
Fight.
It was the worst officiated college football game I probably have ever seen. I can't think of. The bad calls single-handedly swung that game 14 points.
Yeah, and so
it's what instituted replay.
So what? And after that game, the Jeremy called Dave Hart, who was the FSU AD at the time. They had a shouting match about it, and then Jeremy told me, they changed the contract. So after that year, for a lot of years, the ACC. When the game was in Tallahassee, the ACC refs did it, and when the game was in Gainesville, the SEC refs did it. They flipped the way it was done. And I asked Jeremy about that one time, and Jeremy told me point blank, looked me in the eye and said, Frank, I can't control what happened in that game, but I can make damn sure those guys never come in my building again. That's what he said. And I'm telling you, that was a direct quote from Jeremy Foley to me. I can't control what happened in the game, but I can make sure those guys are never in my building again. That's the AD talking. And they never were, but it's only recently switched back. Only in the last 4 or 5 years, 4 or 6 years, 5 or 6 years, whatever. It's now back to where the SEC officials do the games in Tallahassee and the ACC officials do the games in Gainesville, which is the way it is in every other rivalry of its kind. So it'll be ACC officials. Here's my take on the game. I think people, for whatever reason, maybe it's because they're in the ACC. Maybe it's because I don't know what it is. Somehow people have lost sight, I think, of how good Florida State's football team is. Maybe it's because Miami played them close.
Mm-hmm.
But somewhere along the line, even the odds makers making this a 6-point game. Look, I love my Gators. I'm a Florida grad, and we all know I'm a Gator homer. But I'm trying to be as realistic as I can about this. FSU's really good. I mean, FSU has a good team. They're not going to have their quarterback. I'm really surprised the line is 6. Hayes, you're not surprised the line is 6. I think the line would have been 13. I'm very surprised the line is 6, and look, Florida's played Missouri really close, who's really good also. So maybe, but now Florida doesn't have their quarterback either. I don't think it's 55-7, but if that game's not, I mean, the way Florida State runs with Benson and Toafili, and the way Florida can't ever stop the run, if that game, I don't care how many guys they have in the box, I don't think Florida can stop that run. If that game, if Florida State doesn't get to 35, 38, 40, I'd be surprised. And with Max Brown playing, I see 37-20. I see 38-20. I see that game. What do you think?
Well, I think we don't know what to expect from Tate Rodemaker, the style of offense that Mike Norvell wants to run. I think we kind of know what Billy Napier's going to do, but then again, he could also throw you for a loop. I also think at the end of the day, yes, Florida State is far more talented than Florida, but it is a very hostile environment, and it's a quarterback who hasn't played much. Not that Max Brown's played a lot either, but he has the benefit of the home crowd. Ricky Pearsall is a guy that's going to be playing on Sundays. He needs 52 yards to get to 1,000. He texted Max Brown earlier this week, I'm always open.
One's always open.
One's always open. So I do think that Florida's passing game has found some stride. But again, like you said, there is no Graham Mertz. So how much can that come to fruition with Max Brown? I mean, it is so up in the air, but at the end of the day, yes, Florida State has far more talent, offense, defense, and Florida State has the better coach. Florida State should win the football game, but I'm with Hayes. I think there's always a chance for Florida when you're in the swamp in front of 90,000 crazy people.
And look, if you're a 6-point dog, there's absolutely a chance. It's a 6-point line, so the odds makers who are smarter than me think there's absolutely a chance Florida might win the game.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State has the better team. There's no doubt about it. If you did an open draft of both these rosters, Florida State would dominate it. You're going to see that when half this team is at the Combine next year and then being drafted very high in the 2024 draft. So Florida State has the better team. I think the circumstances of the game give Florida a decent chance. By the way, just some Jaguars breaking news. The Monday night game against Cincinnati is staying on Monday night. The NFL just released the final Week 13 schedule. They are flexing a Broncos-Texans game and a Carolina-Tampa game from Like just basically the Denver-Houston game is now at 1 o'clock. Carolina at Tampa Bay is now 4 o'clock. But the Monday night game, Cincinnati at Jacksonville, is remaining in place.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said, because there had been some question about that.
So it was funny. We were just talking about it, and they just sent the email.
I'm surprised, by the way, that the Broncos at Texans was switched from 4 to 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't know
so
why.
So they put the Panthers at Bucks in a better time slot. I don't get that. But
I don't
that's
either.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah, I don't understand why they did that. But regardless, the Monday night game is safe. I think, this is what I think. If you're Florida State, this is what you have to be worried about. And you would have been worried about this even with a healthy Jordan Travis, but obviously now with a quarterback making his first start, the concern is magnified. They just haven't been in this environment. And when you haven't done something as a football team in your previous 11 weeks, and then you have to do it in your 12th game, and you haven't been on the road at night in a tough environment, and they just haven't. It's not their fault, but their road schedule was at Clemson, and they played it at noon, and the rest of the games weren't against quality opponents. So it just not that, and again, I get it. Florida is not necessarily a quality opponent, but that stadium, that's a 5-star stadium.
Yeah,
I mean,
they played LSU week 1, but that was neutral.
It was neutral, and so they just haven't seen anything like this. So not only would it concern me from Tate Rodemaker's standpoint, it would concern me about, and they have an experienced offensive line, but it would concern me about my left guard and my right tackle, and are my receivers going to stay in position. The other thing too, so it's not just the false starts that can derail drives, procedural issues. Does Mike Norvell have to burn a couple timeouts he doesn't want to because of the crowd, because it's harder to get your play call into a new quarterback? You have to worry about Rodemaker handling the silent count because that they're not going to hear him. So everything's going to have to be done with hand signals and things like that. That can be tough to operate. And so in looking at all of it, and yes, Florida has a suspect defense without question, but they're going to get a jump on every snap because the offensive lineman's going to have to watch the ball. He's not going to hear anything. So the advantage that you would normally have as an offensive player goes out the window because you're having to do exactly what the defender's having to do, which is watch when the ball is snapped. So all of that's going to give Florida that extra millisecond jump. So, again, that's why I think it's a game. Does Florida State win the game? Yeah, probably. They should win the game. They have a much better team. But I do think the element of the swamp and the fact that Florida State just isn't really battle-tested with it, with having a new quarterback, I think it will create some issues. And I do think Florida should be able to run on Florida State with Etienne and Johnson, and Max Brown will probably hit a couple of decent runs. So I think that keeps Florida in it. Ultimately, Florida State should win the game, but I absolutely think Florida has a chance.
The other thing, Frank, is the pressure. All the pressure in the world is on Florida State, and they are devastated. Have they tried to turn their attention to the task at hand? Sure, and focus on practice this week with Rodemaker. But they had their guy, broken in front of them with the national championship, on their minds. Even though, yes, it's one game at a time. But I think there's an emotional part of that, too. Yes, Graham Mertz got hurt, but because, like we've said, Florida wasn't going to the national championship in any way. Florida was never going to the SEC championship. Nothing drastically changed about their season. It just sucks to lose your leader. But Jordan Travis was the guy that was going to get them to potentially the college football playoff. And now all the pressure to get to the ACC championship as an undefeated team is on Florida State.
How do you feel differently about the game now than if both quarterbacks were playing and were healthy? How would that change your feeling of the game?
Well, I think Florida State would have a much easier time winning the game because they have one of the Jordan Travis is, I think, a top 7 player in college football.
I do too.
He's played in that stadium before.
Yeah, so experienced.
He's just done it all. He's just mastered college football. So,
So you'd be way more comfortable if FSU was going to win the game if both quarterbacks were playing.
Oh, yeah.
How about you?
Absolutely.
Because I think both quarterbacks out is advantage Florida because Jordan Travis is a better player than Graham Mertz and a more important player for a lot of reasons. Okay, so I think that is an advantage for Florida. They lost a better player than you did. They lost a more important piece than you did. But having said that, I still think with Tate Rodemaker, the little bit he played last year, Lauren, to your point a minute ago, the little bit he played in this past game, even though it was against North Alabama, he played more. I think they will be not that different in terms of how they run the football. They still got those 2 big receivers. I still have an idea. I have an idea what I think they'll look like. Okay, you know what I mean? I got a gut to I think what they will look like against Florida. The quarterback won't run like Travis did, but he wasn't running as much this year anyway. They're still going to get the ball in the hands of those two great running backs, those two great receivers, that terrific tight end, both those tight ends. I have no idea. Florida, the one puncher's chance Florida had in games was because Mertz was so good and the offense was so good, they were going to score 30 on most people, and that was their puncher's chance. Their puncher's chance was that Mertz in the offense would hang 30-plus points. Maybe Brown will be okay. He played, 2 series the other night? And he did okay. He played. You ought to be proud of him. He was ready to play. He gutted it out. That was a wonderful performance. But in a game of this magnitude for 4 quarters, I have no idea what Max Brown might be. At least I think I have a little idea what Tate Rodemaker might. Does that make sense? I mean, I have no idea. Max Brown might be really good, and we don't know. Because if he's not any good, they have no chance. No chance. And so
would you pick Florida if Mertz was healthy and playing and Jordan Travis was not? Would you have picked Florida to win the game?
Oh no,
Okay.
I wouldn't have picked him either. But I would have thought.
Would you have picked it if Tebow was starting?
No, against Jordan Travis, I probably still. No, I wouldn't have. I think if Mertz was playing, if Mertz and Travis were both playing, I think we then might have been headed for 48-34. Okay, 48, 41. I think because Florida proved they can score. Florida has proven they can score points.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't score. They scored 20 against Georgia, and they scored 30. So I think with Mertz playing, I think Florida was going to go to. I think Florida might have gone to the 30s in this game, and FSU would have been in the 40s. Now, we're guessing at what Florida might be. Now we're kind of guessing at FSU, but I don't think it's as big a guess. At least that's how I think. We'll say I may be dead wrong, but my guess is. I'd love to believe Max Brown gives them a running element, and he's better than everybody thought, and there's no tape on him, and he's going to be.
That's what you have to believe.
Right. As a fan, that's what you want to believe,
maybe
right?
Napier's offense is smoother and operating with a running quarterback.
Well, there's no chance it's going to be smoother than it was with a 70% passer. There's no.
I mean, as far as him getting the play calls in, maybe that changes because you've got a more mobile quarterback.
No chance. Not a chance. There's a chance you'll have some running plays from the quarterback, there's a chance there'll be some RPO, and I do think with an RPO or running quarterback, that makes the running backs better because you got to have guys stay home on.
Absolutely.
But smoother plays in. No, there's no chance of that.
And I think
none.
if you're looking at this from a Florida State perspective, Mike Norvell to this point is a way better coach than in-game coach than Billy Napier.
I think this.
He has way more talent.
I think. Now here's the question: if Travis had gotten hurt and Mertz hadn't, okay,
I'd have picked Florida.
I might have picked Florida in that game. I might.
That's why I think you were asking.
Yeah, that's what I just asked.
Yeah. Oh, if
Mertz was playing and Travis wasn't.
I misunderstood you.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might have picked Florida. It'd have been close, but I might have picked Florida. I misunderstood. I thought you meant if they were both playing. No, if Mertz was playing, if Mertz didn't get hurt at all, and there was no Travis, then I think you'd have a heck of a game because I think Florida could get to the 30s, and I'm not sure FSU's going to. But with them both playing, I misunderstood your question. Sorry about that. Yes, but I don't think. Yeah, I'm not convinced I'd have picked Florida in that game.
Right.
But I might have. It would have been again. Florida, remember now, Florida's won 5 games. Florida couldn't beat Arkansas at home. I mean, that didn't change anything. They couldn't beat Arkansas at home.
Right.
That's a reality. I mean,
It was a noon kick.
Yeah. And so it was. But hey, listen.
The defense is. If Florida's going to win the game, the defense has to be resoundingly better.
And what in the world has given us any indication that could happen?
I got nothing for you.
Yeah,
on that.
I mean, so
other than the fact that it's in the
Other
swamp.
than- yeah.
and
it's at night in
a
the
new
swamp.
quarterback, and you're facing a new quarterback. So we'll see. I think if I had to do a score right now, I'll say 34-17 Knowles. That's what I'll give you. What would you if you had to do a score right now? Do you think? I mean, you may pick Florida because you picked Florida.
I think it's going to be like 24-21. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
'Cause
backup quarterbacks are going to go up and
that
down
makes
the
sense.
field.
2 new quarterbacks. That makes sense. What do you think?
I see it more like that. I think if I had to pick it right now, I'd probably pick it 28-24.
So y'all see the same game.
Florida State. I think if
I
will say I think Florida covers 6.5.
You do? Okay, so
Yeah.
you do think it's going to be a close game.
I think it'll be close
Okay,
games.
you think
Yeah.
it'll be a close game. Well, I'll tell you this. If y'all are both right, anybody can win then. Anybody can win a close game. Despite the fact that he missed the Arkansas kick, I like Florida's kicker. I think he's the better of the 2 kickers. I think the pressure is on FSU. I think the crowd will affect that game now.
Oh,
if it's the game you just said, if it's the game you guys both think, and again, look, the odds makers are smarter than me. They think it's the same thing you think, a 6-point game. I just can't, having watched Benson, having watched Toafili, having watched Coleman, having watched Wilson, having watched Jaheim Bell, having watched the other tight end guy, Moreland or whatever his name is.
Morlock.
I can't imagine that Florida defense, which is probably the worst in my lifetime. It's probably the worst Florida defense.
Seems like we say that every year.
It really does.
The last two.
I know it's the first time that Florida's given up 39 points or more in 4 consecutive games since World War I.
Yeah. World War I. Not 2.
Not 2.
We're going 1.
1.
We're going 2.
World War I.
I'd have felt better if you'd have gone 2.
I'm
World
sorry.
War I is what we're talking about.
Stats are the
Ferdinand
stats.
territory right there.
We'll take a break. More in a moment. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Now, the Lamb Rant, brought to you by the best bet card rooms of Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine.
I did something Saturday night I haven't done since 1982. I got emotionally involved in a sporting event that didn't involve my son Alex. I know this sounds difficult to believe, but in my day, journalists weren't supposed to take sides. You covered an event as objectively as humanly possible. But Saturday, I literally found myself screaming while watching the Florida-Missouri game. I cursed. I slammed stuff. I couldn't believe how undisciplined the Gators played in losing to Missouri, who was an 11-point favorite. There were 9 penalties, many at crucial times. There was a botched handoff, stepping out of bounds with 1:36 to play. Without the last 2, the Gators win a huge upset and go bowling. I chalk those mistakes to coaching. I still support keeping Coach Billy Napier, but my support is waning. Oh, yeah, in 82 is when a skinny freshman named Michael Jordan hit a game-winning basket in the final seconds of the NCAA basketball championship to give North Carolina the title. I literally leaped out of my press row seat.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at jaguars.com/shadows. One winner a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase to enter or win, must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia. Promotion period 9/5/23 through 12/15/23. For official rules and complete details, visit jaguars.com. Sponsored by Jacksonville Jaguars, LLC.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. Beaver's annual Black Friday silent sale. Every car on the lot will be discounted so low, we can't even show the prices on TV. Doors open at 6 a.m. Friday. First come, first served. And once they're gone, it's over. Plus, anyone who buys between 6 and 9 a.m. will get a big screen TV and $1,000 cash. Want more? We're giving away free oil changes between 6 and 9 a.m. The Black Friday silent sale only at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. You don't want to miss this.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World, simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Cooking with Prisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a rolling.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Hey there, my taco-loving sports fans. Don here from Taco Lou in Jax Beach. It's Tuesday, and to many of you, that means one thing, tacos. At Taco Lou, we feel like every day is Taco Tuesday, except Monday, which is what makes Tuesday special for us, too. We're back. You've been patient, and now it's time to dig in, crush some tacos, and wash it all down with a cold Dos Equis. Or sip a fantastic margarita while you grind. Come in and see what's new at Taco Lou. Taco Lou in Jax Beach.
Roland Reich Plumbing, there when you need them. Big or small plumbing problem, call Roland Reich Plumbing anytime at 260-7059. 260-7059, where quality and experience count.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
There are three certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
I think there's a lot of mediocrity in today's NFL. I don't see the excellence that I saw in the past. I think the coaching isn't as good as it was. I don't think the development of young players is as good as it was. The rules have allowed a lot of bad habits to get into the actual performance of the game. So I just think the product, in my opinion, is less than what it's been. I look at a lot of players like Ray Lewis and Rodney Harrison and Ronnie Lott and guys that impacted the game in a certain way, and every hit they would have made would have been a penalty. Your coach is complaining about their own player being tackled and not necessarily, why don't they talk to their player about how to protect himself? We used to work on the fundamentals of those things all the time. Now they're trying to be regulated all the time.
It's a Nimnicht Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941.
The comments of Tom Brady, I kind of agree with them. I don't think this is something, when you see a headline, Brady rips the NFL, calls it mediocre, it sounds like some bombastic old guy. But when you listen to the comments, they were logical, I thought. I thought Tom Brady made some points. We're trying, and I think it's great that we're trying to protect players. But we're trying so hard to protect their health, which should be first. It has changed the game. The roughing the passer on Kayvon Chaisson,
that was bogus.
Was one of the worst calls I've ever seen. And I know that you're trying to keep defensive players from hitting the quarterback low in the striking zone when he lets the ball go, and then lifting their bodies up and pile driving their bodies into the quarterback. I get that. But that's not what he did. It was really just a tackle. I think there's some truth to what Brady said.
Yeah, it's interesting that he says it's a little bit more mediocre. I think it might just be more this season, but certainly as far as the regulation is concerned, yes, the officials are going above and beyond what I think the rules call for in trying to protect certain players. But Brady also said in that interview that he knew better than to throw to certain guys across the middle because they were going to get lit up. And you have to protect your own guys by not putting them in that situation. And I don't know that that's being taught today for sure.
I think what we're certainly the game's being officiated at an all-time level of ridiculousness. Doug Peterson was asked about the late hit on Chason and just the difficulty that the defender is in on that to not commit a foul. Like, what can the defender do? And Doug was like, look, by the book, it's the right call. It's you've got to try to roll off. You've got to try to brace your arms. It's absurd. Now, I mean, again, that is the rule, and to Doug's credit, he's like, this is how the game is officiated now. But it just puts the defender in such an impossible spot, and and again, just you can glance a quarterback, glance their helmet with your hand, and it's a 15-yard penalty. I mean, there's no sense of, did this really affect him? Was there any real contact here, or was it so minute that it doesn't need to be a foul? It's very hard and fast. Nope, that's a foul. He touched his head, and we're going to throw the penalty. So I think it starts there. I don't think the quality is necessarily bad. Now, Brady may not be a fan of where offense is going, and I can kind of get behind him on that. I'm not a huge fan of horizontal offense. I prefer to see more posts and corners and deep shots and explosiveness, but defenses have just decided across the board, we're not giving you guys that anymore. You're going to have to throw it horizontally, and you're going to have to drive 8 or 9 plays down the field. We're not going to give you the shock plays anymore. And so offense is going to have to adjust. And I'm sure the league in 3 or 4 years will say, you're not allowed to play 2 safeties, 20 yards deep.
That's right.
And, but for now it's so I think it's more schematic than it is the talent. I think the athleticism's never been better. I think the quarterback play, considering all the great players that just have recently retired, I think the quarterback position's in a really good place, considering that massive transition. But I do think schematically it's a harder watch at times because of what the defense is kind of forcing the offenses now to do.
Isn't it crazy that he played with Ray Lewis? It feels like Ray Lewis has been out of the league for 15 years.
We played 50 years.
But because Tom Brady played so long, he's referencing guys that it seems like we're in an era before him.
I also think this, too. I think the officiating of football is worse than I've ever seen it. I think some of the pass interference calls, there's more phantom pass interference calls than you'll ever see. There's
not against the guys covering Calvin Ridley, though.
Yeah, well, right. But, I mean, there's more missed ones, too. But I just think there's more. I think and listen, I've always said this about football. It's by far the hardest game to officiate. You're running, you got more ground to cover. You don't know where the infraction's going to happen. Baseball, it's going to happen. The plays of note are going to happen around the 3 bases, home plate, or the foul lines. You know where the plays are going to happen. Basketball is usually in the lane. There's some other stuff, but most of the activity's in the lane. Football, it's a gigantic field, and you don't know where any of it's going to happen. And they're world-class athletes, and they're middle-aged men trying to run with world-class athletes. I get it. It's hard. It's hard. But I think I have screamed about this since I started watching sports. I have written columns about it when I was a sports writer, and I've screamed about it into the mic since I've been in the broadcast side, which has been about 36 years. And I'll stand by this. I can live with for the most part, unless it's egregious like the Rams Saints that year, I can live with a penalty that's not called. I cannot live with penalties that are called that didn't happen, because then you're making it up. If something happened and you didn't see it, whereas that's bad and at times egregious, that's human error. I can live with it. I can live with it happened, but you didn't see it and you didn't call it. Let them play. It's always going to bother you sometimes, but it's never bothered me on a regular basis. But calls that are made that didn't happen, those are the ones that bother me the most, because you're guessing. You're guessing and making up stuff. And those are the ones. And Hayes, I think that's worse than it's ever been. I've seen some pass interference called where it wasn't even close to pass interference. It just looked like they're calling things that possibly they think might have happened. You can never call something that you think might have happened, and I think we're seeing that a lot.
I also think we're seeing in the NFL the NBA-ization of stars getting calls that aren't necessarily there.
Agreed.
I also think this group of NFL officials is more rattled by being booed, rattled by a crowd groaning than previous ones. And I get, look, it's an impossible job. I would
very
want,
hard job.
Of all the jobs on planet Earth, being a official in any form or fashion would be like bottom 10 on my list. So God bless these people that want to get out there and suffer through what they have to suffer through to give us officials in games. But I do think it's at the NFL level. I think this group is, and they've had a lot of turnover. You know, that's something the league, there's probably a story there. I mean, they had a lot of officials that retired early because broadcast teams decided we want to start having an official, a game official as an analyst during these games, and they're just paying more. So the NFL lost some really good officials, and I don't know that they've replaced them adequately because at the NFL level, I don't even like it in college, but college is so much more – there's so much more passion in the stadium for a college game that I can kind of understand it a little bit if an official officiating an amateur game is swayed by 90,000 people at one time, but at the NFL level, I mean, you've got to be able to move past that. And it seems like this group of NFL officials is very, very thin-skinned when it comes to pleasing the home crowd.
I think in college football or pro football, where you see the most influence isn't the crowd, it's the sideline. I think the official that stands on one team's sideline has a really hard time calling a penalty against, or not calling a penalty against that team, because there's 100 of them. Players, coaches, staff, and they're all screaming at him. There's 100 of them screaming at him. So that sport, that's the one sport where some of your officials are stationed on one team's sideline the whole time. Baseball doesn't have that. Basketball doesn't have that. They all move around. Those side judges, you're on one team's sideline the entire time. And if you want to call one against that team, and then it's exacerbated, Hayes, by your point, the home crowd too. So, but it just seems like to me officiating, and again, I agree with what you said. I said it before. It's really, really hard.
Were you ever an umpire?
Well, I was never a full-time umpire. I did sometimes umpire games when I was coaching Little League. We umpired. Yeah, I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. But I umpired games. We were in Little Leagues. What I regret more than that, I started coaching when I was 17. I was coaching. In fact, in San Souci, Glenn Dowdy and I, one of my high school teammates, they didn't have enough coaches, and I'd been an assistant coach. So we went to the city and said, could we coach a team? And they said, well, the city rules at the time you have to be 18 to coach a team. I said, well, we're good coaches, and we're responsible. And, my mom spoke for me, and his parents spoke for him. And the city made this waiver to allow us to coach 11 and 12. It's called midgets at the time, 11 and 12, when we were 17. And so I coached a team when I was 17. And the biggest regret I have was yelling at those umpires. These umpires who were making, at the time, $10 a game or $12 a game, and I'm in there yelling at them because it's a 12-year-old game, because they called the third strike on my 12-year-old guy. You know what I mean? I wasn't very mature. I was 17 years old. You know what I mean? But I regret that more, the way people yell at officials now, and I was one of them. But no, I've never umpired. But I was
a referee for soccer when I was probably late teens.
Yeah.
And yeah, I made I think $5 an hour, but I was refereeing the 5-year-olds.
Did you pull out a red card?
No red cards for the 5-year-olds. But
I never ejected anybody.
You guys know how soccer is for little kids. They're just in a cluster, and they just all are in the cluster in the ball. So the ball would go out of bounds, and I'd have no idea which child kicked it out of bounds.
Right.
So I'd just guess as to which team would have the ball, and there wasn't even throw-ins back then. The parents would scream at me if I got it wrong, which of course they were wrong too. It scarred me. Never, ever. I did it for one season. Never again.
I've known you for a long time.
I don't like being yelled at.
You would not do well in that setting.
But also, how can I tell which? You can't tell either. They're all around each other. It's impossible.
As we go to break, one of my favorite commercials was the little kid of the sportsmanship commercial, where with the basketball, where the ball went off the one kid, and the referee gives it to the other, and the kid goes to his coach and goes, "Hey, coach, it really went off me," and the coach says, go tell him, which would never happen, by the way. In a million years, there's not a Little League coach in the world that would tell his tell his guy to do that. So.
Absolutely not.
I got to make a point about coaches getting fired. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Digest the weekend's games with 1010XL's football experts.
That is a meal.
Sink your teeth into Dandy Foods Postgame Monday. Makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff. Postgame Monday on 1010XL.
The deal of the year is here at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Mia here, and right now you can save thousands off original MSRP on pre-owned 2023 models, like a Toyota Corolla LE starting at just $18,881. The 2023 Toyota Camry LE or RAV4 LE as low as $23,881. You can even get a 2023 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road 4x4 as low as $38,881. Shop ArlingtonToyota.com and save thousands today.
'Tis the season for holiday cheer. At last, the Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Milkshake is here. Truly a signal of the season, the Peppermint Chip Milkshake has returned to spread happiness and minty cheer for all to enjoy. Made with crunchy bits of peppermint bark, hand-spun ice cream, and topped with whipped cream, the Peppermint Chip Milkshake is only available at Chick-fil-A. Enjoy one while you're shopping or caroling, and don't forget you can order ahead through the Chick-fil-A app for the tastiest, mintiest milkshake of the holiday. And remember, it's only here for a limited time.
November is Men's Health Awareness Month, and Ackerman Urology is here for all your prostate and urological needs. Don't delay in getting screened. Call their new World Golf Village office and see an expert today. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
It's a fact. Cold weather kills car batteries. Make sure your battery is strong enough to withstand another winter. Have it tested for free at Batteries Plus. Need a replacement? We have plenty of options available from the industry's top brands. Plus, free battery installation in most vehicle makes and models, or upgrade to Premier installation for added protection. You'll also find jump starters, windshield wiper blades, and other winter auto essentials at your nearest location or online at batteriesplus.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On November 21st, 2016, the NFL returned to Mexico City for the first time since 2005 for the first Monday Night Football game outside of the U.S. with Raiders and Texans.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline from MyBookie. Football is in full blast, so is winning season at MyBookie, and they've got an incredible deal. They are doing 110% deposit matchup to $1,100 this week. This week only, deposit $1,000 to receive the full amount. It's MyBookie's biggest sportsbook bonus ever. Again, 110% deposit match on your first deposit. The minimum deposit does need to be $50 to receive the bonus. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 1-point favorite at the Texans. The Gators, a 6.5-point underdog to the Knowles in the Swamp. Michigan, a 3.5-point home favorite over Ohio State. Again, sign up with that promo code 1010XL to get that incredible bonus. It is 110%. Again, promo code 1010XL. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Arthritis is the most common cause of joint pain in America and affects more than 50 million adults. Dr. George Bari here, and no one wants to deal with pain without solutions on how to feel better. For reliable diagnosis and comprehensive treatment options, come see me and the specialists at Bari Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. With more than 35 years of experience in orthopedics, our team delivers compassionate and dedicated care to relieve your pain. Set up a visit today by scheduling online or calling the office. Log on to BariOrthopedics.com with locations across Jacksonville.
Hacker here, and look, football season is in full swing, and no game day setup is complete without the Sausage Dude sausage. I'm a sausage guy, and the Sausage Dude sausage is the best sausage I've ever had. Try their 4 terrific flavors, including Polish, Hungarian, beer bratwurst with jalapeno, and my personal favorite, the Italian today, by picking them up at any Publix in the Jacksonville area. Football and sausage, it's a winning combination. Go get the Sausage Dude sausage at any Publix in the Jacksonville area right now.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here. Hurricane season is upon us. That's why I always recommend Patriot Roofing Services, specializing in all types of commercial, residential roofing and repairs, gutters, sun tubes, skylights, 10-year workmanship warranty, financing is available, military and senior citizen discounts, no subcontractors. Give my buddy Mark a call, 982-4052, licensed and insured, or go to Patriot Roofing Services online.
Feeling the chill as temperatures drop? Your home should be your warm haven. But what if it's not? Don't let the cold sneak in. Let Duck Duck Air Conditioning tackle the issue. Our expert techs will have your heating system up and running in no time. Go ahead, get your comfort back. Contact Duck Duck Air Conditioning at 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning, where your comfort comes first, no matter the weather. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Rock Resurrection Tour, starring Theory of a Dead Man and Skillet. Friday, November 24th, Daly's Place. Same night, same stage. With special guest Saint Asonia. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Theory of a Dead Man. Skillet. Together live.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Sunday's game against the Houston Texans will be for first place in the AFC South. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson on the magnitude of Sunday's game against Houston.
I mean, it's game 11, but they're always big, right? I mean, anytime you play your division, they're all big games, and obviously we understand what this team did to us, a few weeks back, and it is another game on the schedule. A lot of football ahead still, but great opportunity to go down. It's going to be loud. They're playing extremely well. We are too, and it should be a good matchup.
The Jaguars will look to avenge their Week 3 loss to Houston, a 37-17 final here in Jacksonville. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show on this Nimnick Tuesday. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline. RJ Saunders, I am Lauren Brooks. We're about to talk more about coaches and why they shouldn't get fired, Frank.
Every coach should get 4 years.
No matter what. Like even Willie Taggart should have gotten 4 years?
Every coach should get 4 years. Now, if you cheat or if you do something abusive, that.
Like Zach Arnett?
Every coach should get 4 years. Now,
Okay.
now you shouldn't hire Zach Arnett.
Gotcha.
I
So
think
make better hiring choices so you don't have to
think,
fire them.
and I think if I'm going to guess this. The Mike Leach thing happened so traumatically,
Mm-hmm.
and that team was so rocked by it. I'm guessing Zach Arnett got the job because he was close to the players, and they needed the right guy. Because we even talked to him about this at SEC Media Days. I asked Zach about it, and I asked some of the players about it. You needed someone to guide them through a very difficult mourning period. So I think that was a little different. And listen, every rule has exceptions, but for the most part, I think one of the most damaging things we've done to programs is allow them to funnel through coaches too quickly. I think that has damaged more college programs because think about it, what program gets dead and comes back from the dead anymore? Almost none. I mean, some, but almost none. SC hasn't come back from the dead. Florida hasn't come back from the dead. I'm not sure Texas has come back from the dead. They're better, Tennessee looked like they were starting to under Heupel. Maybe they have. But for the most part, think about it, Hayes. How many programs come back from the dead? It's hard because they get the taste of greatness so quickly, and it tastes so good, and you'll hoist the trophy, and you're the best team, and then you've changed the expectations to where you expect it to be that way all the time. I can tell you, before Steve Spurrier, every Florida coach got 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, all of them. We're talking about over 80 years now. I know the rules change and there's more money and now there's NAL and portal. I get it. But before Spurrier, I'll bet if you look back, I'll bet you Ray Graves had 10, 12 years. Doug Dickey had 10 years. Charlie Pell cheated. Charlie Pell got fired because Charlie had 5, 6 years, didn't he? 79 through 84.
Yeah.
Okay, so Charlie had a bunch of years. Galen Hall had 84 through 89. So nobody, they weren't all great coaches, but nobody ran them out after 2 or 3 years. Then Spurrier raised the bar. And so, I mean, again, Ron Zook got 2.5 years. Ron Zook was 12-4 in SEC games his first 2 years, 6-2 both years, and was fired in the middle of his third. He lost 3 games on the last minute of the. Ron Zook, when he got fired, was 4-3, I think, or 5-3 when he got fired, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He had lost all 3 games in the last minute of the game and got fired. Now Urban got hired, and so I just think we fire our coaches so fast, they never get to know the players don't get to know them. And here's what happens when you fire your coaches. The first 2 or 3 years on the job is when the coaches get to know the high school coaches. It's when when your assistant coach gets to know the program he's recruiting. And it can't happen if you're fired in 2 years. You can't possibly get to know the people you're recruiting. Don't you start recruiting guys in the 9th grade now? Well, heck, by the time they're in the 11th, you're out. And so the new coach has got to go meet you in the 11th. Well, you had no chance. If the new Florida coach comes in after the other guy gets fired in 2 years and tries to recruit the 11th grader, well, he's no chance because the guy that knew him since the 9th grade's fired. But you know what? The Georgia and Alabama coach that knew him since the 9th grade, you know what? They're still there. And Nick Saban's still there. And I just think it's a rapidly it happens over and over and over, and you never get off the spinning wheel, Hayes. Is you keep firing coaches fast. You never get to know the high school coaches. You never get to establish your recruiting base. You never get to develop a player. And I think this isn't a Florida comment, by the way. I think it's epidemic. I think it's epidemic. It's always been kind of epidemic in pro sports, but it's ruining college sports in many ways. That's why the dominant teams stay dominant, because their coaches aren't going anywhere. And it's hard to come back from the dead. And I'm passionate about it. I really am.
Yeah, I think a good rule is 4 years, but I do think there's going to be exceptions.
But exceptions, not standard.
Not standards. And, again, I think the NIL world is going to make it somewhat easier for coaches to come in and have success a little earlier if you have a collective that can obviously fund you, which is what it takes now. So But from a high school standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint, I mean, it's an absolute killer. I mean, because of what you're talking about, that process gets earlier and earlier every year. And so you've got a lot of ground to make up. Again, not that this is a Billy Napier discussion, but a comment that he made about this time last year was, when you sign up knowing you're losing a year of your life, because everything has to be devoted to making those inroads in recruiting so that you just have a chance to sign a decent class. So, yeah, I mean, I think from a high school recruiting standpoint, stability means everything. I also think this is the other thing. I also think if you give a coach 4 years, you're eliminating the luck portion of it. Luck plays a big role in whether these guys succeed or not. I mean, Ron Zook, Will Muschamp, terrible luck. Terrible luck in terms of injuries with Muschamp. He loses Driscoll and Easley early in one season.
Great point.
With Ron Zook, bad officiating hurts him twice. In games that if he wins, he certainly doesn't get fired when he got fired. In the converse of that, I think for Billy Napier, you have to look at luck to an extent. His bad luck has been the schedule. He comes to Florida and. Welcome to Florida, Billy. You're in the SEC. Oh, by the way, obviously you play Florida State every year, who's found their groove, and we're going to send you to Utah and have Utah come here in your first 2 years, and they're one of the better teams in the Pac-12.
Yeah, by the way, Zook got Miami the first 2 years.
Right.
Coming off a national championship.
Right, loaded Miami.
Right, loaded
Miami.
Like
come into the swamp and put 44 up on you.
Correct.
Miami, yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things that I think luck does play a portion in that. So if you give a coach 4 good seasons, usually at some point luck is going to even out, or you're at least going to have a season where you don't feel like a bad call, a really unfortunate injury made it hard to get a good judgment on things. So, yeah, I mean, I again, the other component to it, though, to me is also before you get to those 4 years, do you back channel? Does a coach back channel you through his agent and it's a coach that you never thought would take your job,
right,
and is saying, hey, I would love to be your coach if the job was open. Well, I think if that happens, then it does force your hand. I mean, I do think Urban Meyer being obviously available,
I do too,
created a shorter leash on Ron Zook. In today's climate, I'm not sure if there's a coach that it's hard for me to think of a coach that would be reasonable, where it would be just a no-brainer.
Clay Helton wasn't a very good coach, but did SC know they were getting Lincoln Riley, and did that expedite?
Right.
That's your point. Did
Correct.
that expedite? And I don't know, but did all of a sudden Clay Helton get fired because they now knew they could get Lincoln Riley? That's the example you're talking about.
Right. And so I think other than what you're saying, other than from a personality standpoint, we've hired a total zero, or obviously a cheating perspective, or I can't believe this coach his agent just reached out to us and he's interested in our job if it comes open. Other than those things, you really should give a coach 4 years. Yeah. And, I mean, we give presidents 4 years.
Right. I am convinced.
So, I mean, why wouldn't you give a football coach 4 years?
And I am convinced, and I might be the dumbest guy in town, and it wouldn't be the first time. I am convinced that Billy Napier, if given 4 years with proper support, will build a really good roster. Whether he's good enough to coach it, I don't know yet. I haven't seen enough yet. Well, he's got to get better at some of the sideline stuff and the timeouts and the special teams. There's been warts all over the place. But I am convinced. I'm 100%. I was convinced about Zook, and I was right, and he did it in 2.5 years. I am convinced if Billy Napier is given 4 years, he will load up that roster to where it's one of the 4 or 5 best rosters in the country. Now, let me say it again. If he's given 4 or 5 years, he will build that roster to whether it's one of the best 4 or 5 rosters in the country. Whether he can coach him or not, we'll see. I haven't seen enough to know that. Agree or disagree with that? Is that too strong? Is top 4 or 5 roster in the country too strong?
No, I don't think it's too strong, because I think what he's done, everybody wants to make it seem like Florida's class is falling apart. They're 5th in the country. He's won 5 games. I mean, he is getting torn apart on the trail from Georgia and Florida State and Alabama. I mean, he's got elite guys in that class still that are hearing it about, why would you go there? He's not going to be the coach. They're not winning. Don't you want to go to bowl games? Don't you want to compete for titles? You're never going to do that there. And the fact that they are still 5th, now I don't know, they may finish 11th. I mean, because they may not. It may be hard to get guys to come and commit. But he's certainly in the mix. I think at worst case they finish somewhere around 10 or 11. They might go 5-7. They're probably going to go 5-7.
Correct.
So to go 5-7 and have a class that's that good certainly speaks to, if he ever could find some success on the field and he could take that on the trail with him, then I mean, I think obviously the potential is there for him to be a top 4 recruiter, and then obviously you'd have a ton of talent. Plus, Florida's collective's in a much better shape with Florida victorious than it was this time last year when that Gators collective disintegrated. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with his roster building. I think he's good at that. I just worry that he could have the best talent in college football and still go 9-3 because he can't figure out special teams. He can't figure out his timeouts. He can't figure out his staff. He can't figure out defensive, schemes and situational football there. That's my concern, is that there will always be those 3 to 4 plays in the big games where Billy Napier fails.
And if you're an athletic director and you feel like your coach is not fixing certain things, this is not a Florida comment, in general, then you want to give them 4 years to see what they can do. But if you're not seeing any improvement in certain areas, it's hard to believe that that's going to change when they've given you no evidence.
Then fire him in 4 years.
And I think for the most part, like Sam Pittman we talked about yesterday, he's going to get more than 4 years.
Right.
He's had losing seasons in 2 out of the 4 years.
Is this his 4th?
This is his 4th year right now. And he's going to get a 5th year, but he's had losing seasons 2 out of the 4. The first year, which that you don't blame him, and then this year. And so I'm sure that fan base is not thrilled with that, but they gave him 4 years, and I don't know that he's producing.
Same with the Missouri guy got 4 years, and now they're pretty good.
Absolutely.
So I think he get 4 years.
Yeah, every situation is different.
One other thing about the luck thing you said, one of this guys on Twitter, and I was a Gator guy, so he's pointing out stuff that's Gator favorable. But he found his stat compare. Have you seen this? Stat comparison between Florida and FSU. Missed tackles, total sacks, blah, 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 total interceptions. Obviously, FSU a lot better than a lot of these. But he got the strength of schedule. Did you see this? National strength of schedule. Where do you think Florida and FSU are? Strength of schedule nationally.
I'd say Florida is 9th and Florida State's 45th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to guess 10th and 50th.
4th and 50th.
Okay.
So according to this metric, Florida's played the 4th toughest schedule in the country. FSU's played the 50th toughest, which is back to your point, why it's a 6-point line, not a 16-point line. I would say so. Interesting stuff. I love the game. Can't wait to see it. All right, enjoy your hour off.
Thank you.
You guys bringing the heat or no? Have you decided?
Thanksgiving food top 5 power rankings.
Yeah. I love that.
So, yes.
I do have a question. I didn't get to it. I'm going to get to it tomorrow.
Okay.
Does anybody eat turkey any other time of year? Anyone eat turkey in May?
It's a good question. I think
turkey
sliced turkey breast, yes. But as far as buying the whole bird, no.
Hey, honey, what are you going to have for dinner tonight? It's May 12th. Turkey. Let's make a turkey.
I mean, I eat a lot of turkey from Bono's.
Yeah, we're going to have a turkey
with turkey salad.
Okay, yeah, I do. You want turkey?
I would say, I would agree. You don't do the bird, but like the oven gold turkey deli.
Yeah, sliced.
A slice. Oh, boy, that's good.
Okay. Delicious. I love turkey year-round.
Cranberry sauce?
No.
I don't see. I'm not a big fan of that anyway.
July 17th, you've never had cranberry sauce?
No, but I won't eat that on Thursday. So.
But no, you don't have cranberry sauce any other time of year.
How about stuffing on February 12th?
No, because you don't have the bird. But
Okay.
you could make dressing.
Oh, so you can't have the stuffing without the bird. I mean, you have the bird without the stuffing.
You can have dressing, because that doesn't go in the bird. But
Oh.
stuffing is only if it's in the bird.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
But no, nobody else
Yeah,
makes
not really.
dressing either.
The point's right. You eat this stuff once a year for the most part.
But ham,
on
I feel like
Thanksgiving.
people eat ham at Easter.
But
Why don't
sure.
they eat turkey at Easter?
But here's what happens. Ham is kind of like a utility player.
And
Ham,
a really
Ham could
good
play
one.
shortstop, right field, or if you're getting blown out in the ninth inning, Ham could come pitch. Turkey can't pitch.
I think ham is like.
See, I think turkey's
LeBron.
way better than ham.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
I
I mean,
like
but,
ham
ham can do anything. Ham can be a ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Ham can be Easter, like you said.
Yeah.
So ham could play left field.
Ham can be a Christmas
and DH
too.
and be your left-handed reliever.
It's 5-tool.
Ham could do all that.
Maybe it's because one time when I was in college, my parents brought me like a honey baked ham, and that was my meal, lunch, and dinner every day for like 2 weeks. And ever since then, I've been anti-ham. I will.
Enjoy your hour off.
Thank you. I'm gonna go eat.
Denny Thompson joins us. I think Denny's back from vacation. We'll talk quarterbacks and more. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
1010XL brings you the orange and blue.
Touchdown, Gators!
The Gators chomp the chop in the swamp. Florida State, Saturday at 7 on Jacksonville's home of Florida Gators football. 1010XL.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Stop stealing joy from loved ones by missing out on making memories because of your joint pain. PRPrelief.com has the answer. A local clinic with natural regenerative treatments. Go to PRPrelief.com today for your joint pain.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what WonderWorld wants you to do. WonderWorld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to WonderWorld, they can't offer you the quality at the price that WonderWorld can.
And with WonderWorld, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new WonderWorld windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, WonderWorld and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with WonderWorld, and to top it off, WonderWorld windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with WonderWorld. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call Window World today and get your free in-home estimate or see them online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Hey there, my taco-loving sports fans. Don here from Taco Lou in Jax Beach. It's Tuesday, and to many of you, that means one thing, tacos. At Taco Lou, we feel like every day is Taco Tuesday, except Monday, which is what makes Tuesday special for us, too. We're back, you've been patient, and now it's time to dig in, crush some tacos, and wash it all down with a cold Dos Equis. Or sip a fantastic margarita while you grind. Come in and see what's new at Taco Lou. Taco Lou in Jax Beach.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, David here with Royal Pest Services. It's that time of year where we're starting to bring things down from the attic. Along with that comes the critters that have been hiding up there year-round. Go to RoyalPestServices.com or give us a call at 886-2847. That's 886-BUGS.
Your pipes are leaking, don't get nervous. Fa la 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 la. Call Roll and Reach for same-day service. Fa la 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 la. He guarantees your satisfaction. Fa la 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 la. Call Roland and he'll spring into action. Fa la 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 la. This holiday season, if you have a leak and can't wait a week, dial 904-260-7059. And from the Roll and Reach family to yours, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I'm Tom Coughlin, founder of the J-Fund Foundation, helping local families tackle childhood cancer since 1996. Every year we ask for your help, and every year you come through.
And I'm Dan Hicken. We're asking you to please be there November 29th for the J-Fund Radiothon here on 1010XL.
If you're on Coughlin time, you can make your donation now.
Text GOAL to 243-725.
Thank you for choosing to be there for Jacksonville area families tackling childhood cancer on 1010XL.
Hey, folks, it's time for the holidays, which means the Chevrolet Red Tag Sales event is here. And with a powerful Chevy Silverado, you can take on anything. Well, Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be Northeast Florida's Silverado truck headquarters. They've got the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee. Now, with thousands of dollars in discounts and incentives and nearly 200 Silverados in stock, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Plus, well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% APR financing and no payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups. That's what that red tag sales is all about. Shop online at NimnickChevy.com or head to Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
It's a primetime showdown you don't want to miss when your Jaguars take on the Bengals. This highly anticipated Monday night matchup is also our My Cause, My Cleats game, when your favorite players get to champion causes close to their hearts by wearing custom-designed cleats. Plus, don't forget to wear your darkest gear to help us black out the stands and defend the bank. A limited number of seats do remain, so head to Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
When you head out for a night with friends or going to the big game, don't forget the best game plan to win the night is to designate a driver and guarantee a safe ride home. Hydrating between buds is the best play you can make. Bud Light, reminding all to drink wiser.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Batteries Plus. The Gators and the Noles will get together on Saturday night in Gainesville.
One of the more historic rivalries in all of college football. You know, I think it's a privilege to be an opportunity of that, you know, for not only our players, but the entire organization. You know, this is a game that matters 24/7, 365. We're certainly excited about being in the Swamp Saturday night, sold-out crowd for Gator Nation, so we're very thankful for that.
Billy Napier and the Gators host number 4 Florida State Saturday night at 7 o'clock. You can hear the Florida broadcast right here on 1010XL. It's 76 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the quarterback whisperer, Denny Thompson.
Okay, bring it in.
Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security, security and automation experts, and George Moore Chevrolet.
1, 2, 3.
The Whisperer is here. How are the mountains?
I'm all smiles coming back, man.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Were the mountains good?
Great,
I saw a picture
man.
of your cabin. It looked phenomenal.
Yeah, we did nothing. We did nothing,
That's
but
what
we
you
did a
do.
lot. That type of thing. I actually hit Dollywood up.
Yeah, I've never been to East Tennessee.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, Christmas lights up and everything
Oh,
was
that's awesome.
great. Carson played well, so perfect trip.
Boy, is Carson Beck playing well. I'll tell you what, and I tweeted this, that I got to the airport in Miami, and the only sports bar I've ever went to with 87 screens and no CBS. So I've got the Georgia game on my phone, but I'm watching Georgia, Tennessee, USC, UCLA, and North Carolina, Clemson all at the same time. So they're all kind of in my purview, right in my view. And that's Drake May, Caleb Williams, and Carson Beck all playing literally at the same time. They're all in the 3:30 window. And I got to tell you, and I know that Georgia has really good players around him, and USC and North Carolina don't have the same. But I'm watching. He was better than both those guys that day. It's one day, and I know, but I mean, he's really freaking good.
Well, I'm gonna back you up on that. This isn't anything against. I'm not talking about Drake or Caleb, but let me tell you what I saw out of Carson in person
You
that
were
I
at the
had
game.
not seen.
You were at the game.
Yes, because y'all, that place was rocking.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
And then when the first play they scored, it was like, okay, buckle up, right? And then I just watched Carson methodically, unaffected by anything around him, keep them in their offense, keep them in a flow, snap the ball with 12 seconds every single time, so that they kept that same flow to their offense. Death by 1,000 cuts. Yeah. And he was never shaken. I told my wife this. I would have loved to have had a heart rate monitor, because I don't think his heart beat any faster. And I don't think you can teach that. That's not anything I can teach. That's not anything anybody can teach. He just looks like he belongs there, man. It's special.
One of the draft analysts, I think it might have been Dane Brugler, but one of the national draft analysts after the Tennessee game said Carson Beck is the best quarterback in this class in throwing it on time.
Yep.
Do you see that, and what
Yes.
does that mean, and what will that mean to NFL general managers?
Well, his football IQ is very, very high. I know we hear that a lot, but he is like, if you're going to measure geniuses on football IQ, he would be there with like Gardner Minshew and those guys, right? And I'm talking about guys that I have affiliation with, so I can speak on behalf. Being on time also knows that there's a lot of meanings to that. It's not just old school Bowles High School back in the day of we're going to hit this out cut on time. No, we're going to hit this option route that we're not real sure what they're running on time, right? And so we're on the same page. We see the defense. We see the rotation of the defense, so we know when and where they're going to be there, and he is elite at that. There's anticipation, but then there's also that skill that is, you do what you do, and I'm going to react to it, and you're not going to trap me. And that's what we're seeing out of Carson right now. It doesn't matter. If you want to blitz him, good luck. He is historically good against the blitz, and I sat there and watched Tennessee try everything on Saturday, and nothing phased him. He just went to the other side of the field.
Denny, I can't. Everyone's saying, boy, he'll be the Heisman candidate next year, and he'll be in the 25 draft. I can't imagine he's coming back. Everyone seems to think I say everyone. Let me rephrase that. All these national analysts that don't know him,
right,
all seem to suggest he's coming back. He's got to go to the draft this year, doesn't he?
He don't have to. I mean, there's.
He doesn't have to, but I mean,
yeah, there's.
Why would you not?
Okay, I'm not saying he's doing either way, but I'm going to answer your question.
Okay. Because
here's what hypothetically could happen: is let's say you're a top 10 pick. Okay. If he's a top 10 pick, he needs to go. But I'm gonna even do it this way. Let's say he's the 10th pick.
Okay.
Well, if he comes back next year, he's got a chance at being number 1. Right? Georgia knows they're gonna have to write a big check. Right? Anyway.
I hear you.
So you get the check, and then you get that bump in salary cap the next year, and you go number 1. Like, that could be a $10, $15 million bump.
That's a good point.
But I don't know that you would be playing on glass the entire year next year. Like, it would be a hard thing to do.
Your point's a good one, though. I never thought about it. With NIL money, you could get $1 million or whatever the number. I don't know.
Right.
Less than I don't know. But let's whatever the number is. But you could get $1 million right now in your pocket, and if you instead of being the 23rd pick, you're the 4th pick. That's a lot of difference in money, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
now,
you're right.
Now, if he goes and carves Alabama up, now all of a sudden what you're saying, other people will be saying.
I'm just telling you, and Hayes and I have talked about this, and Lorna, listen, and I'm not trying to be biased. I don't know him. I know I've met him a few times. I know the family a little bit. but and I root for him because he's from here and he's your guy. But I'm not being biased to some guy I know, but I've watched them all. I mean, I've watched them all. I mean, I'm telling you, I've watched Michael Penix, and I've watched Michael Penix reminds me of Tua. I think he's a really good player, but a little funky throwing motion. I don't know, man. I just think as far as what pro quarterbacks look like, he looks like Stafford to me. That's what he looks like. He reminds me. Does he remind you of Matt Stafford a little bit? Throwing motion, size.
Yeah.
You know who my comp is for him? Is Cincinnati quarterback. It's just like Burrow. That's my comp for him because Carson moves really well. He's picked up a lot of first downs on the ground.
Yeah.
And they play very similar. Ball's going to come out on time. Elite vision. They've got really good ball placement. Like that's my. And again, I'm not projecting that, but we've known all along that Carson had this in him. It was just a matter of getting his feet wet.
And I want to stay in college now because I want to get to pro in our next segment. I think you know Jordan Travis.
Yeah. Heartbreaking.
What went through your mind? Were you watching at the time? Take us through all that.
I wasn't actually. We were somewhere in Knoxville and got the text, and I didn't have to. I still have not seen the injury. I don't want to see it. Like I know him, and I just don't want to see that. But just heartbreaking, as it is for everybody. When you think about this kid could have come out last year, and it's not like he came back. We're talking about Carson coming back knowing he's going to be a first rounder. He came back knowing he probably was not going to be a first rounder, right? He came back knowing that there's probably not a whole lot he was going to do at this draft position. If he was a fourth rounder last year, he's going to be that this year. He came back because he wanted to win a natty, and it's just not supposed to end like this. Like those guys are supposed to see the thing all the way through, get to draft prep, get to draft day, have their moment. They did everything the right way, and then the next thing you know, you look up and he's done. And it's not fair. To the kid, it's not fair to Florida State because they've been so great with this. It was a situation where everybody handled it perfectly, and it just ended in what right now looks like a disaster, but we all know a year or two from now he's going to learn from this, and it's going to end up being a positive. But it is heartbreaking right now.
What do you think ends up happening with his draft process, assuming this is a 12-week injury? What will that process look like? And I think somebody's going to get a steal.
I don't know about the process because I don't know when if you're going to be down for, let's say you're down for 8 weeks without throwing, then you probably need a good 4 to 5 weeks to ramp back up. And then now we're getting into, hopefully he can have a pro day. Let's put it that way. I don't think the combine, I'm not a medical doctor, but if you say 12 weeks, I immediately go, well, wait, that's right around that combine time.
Right.
And that's bad for him because he was going to light that combine up. Like he was gonna do everything at that combine really, really well if he elected to. And now you're gonna have a pro day where I don't know that he's gonna run that 4.40 that he can run. Like that's the reality of this whole thing. And so now you have to rely on his arm. And is his arm without his legs and without full knowledge of everything that he can do on this football field and a full scope of it, is his arm special enough to get him in the top 3-4 rounds? And I don't know the answer to that.
Two other questions. Number one, what did you make of the season Graham Mertz had? I think Graham Mertz had a fantastic season.
I completely agree. I knew nothing about Graham Mertz.
Same.
I still have met him one time at Anthony's Pro Day, and I'm a fan. Like the kid's tough as nails. He's heard everything all through the offseason, all through this season, and he's still every single Saturday buckled it up. And he was the most consistent player, I think, on Florida's team, or offensively anyway, which that's hard to say about a quarterback.
And tell us about you can't possibly know anything about Max Brown. None of us do. So at least tell us about Tate Rodemaker.
I actually do know Max.
All right, so tell us about those two quarterbacks
you're
going to play against.
I actually know both of them.
Tell us about both of them.
Yeah, so Max is a phenomenal athlete, like a heck of a baseball player on the Florida baseball team. A lot of talent. I see what they saw in Max.
Okay.
The reason why they brought him, very, very fluid mover. Like you'll watch his game and it's like, he's one of these guys that's running away from guys but doesn't look like he's running fast. Good ball, good arm. If they can get a game plan ready for him, like he can play that position at the University of Florida. He's not DJ Lagway, but he can play that for the next couple of weeks if they can find a way to win this game. Tate is just a coach on the field. Tate is not going to do anything that blows you away, but much like we talked about with Carson, he's going to be on time with the ball. He knows what they want to do offensively. That's a competitive quarterback room. So they have A.J. Duffy there, who is a very good player.
Brock Glenn.
They have Brock Glenn there. They have been with Tate from jump at number 2 So obviously he separated himself from those other two, which is saying something.
Yeah, it's interesting. His dad's a coach.
Yeah, his dad used to be at Valdosta. I think they moved up to North Georgia.
But he was a Valdosta coach,
yeah.
right? So anyway, so both teams have a chance to have a decent game plan.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Take a break. Let's talk about Trevor and some NFL guys. Trevor versus C.J. Stroud. What a game that'll be. And Danny will match them up for us after this.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
One play can be the difference.
He's racing down the sideline for the touchdown.
Performance Painting presents the high-performance play of the game.
That's how you finish right there.
On 1010XL. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Frank Frangie here for Big Chief Tire. Looking for affordable tires without sacrificing quality? Well, look no further than Big Chief Tire. Whether you're gearing up for holiday travel or simply need a fresh set of wheels, they're rolling out fantastic deals on tires for all their valued customers. Visit the website at bigchieftire.com or call 904-932-0950 today to schedule an appointment at any of their 5 locations. They keep Jacks rolling.
Whether it's a large commercial project or a multifamily property, trust All Pro Roofing for exceptional craftsmanship and unparalleled customer service. We use only the finest materials, ensuring durability and long-lasting results. Plus, All Pro Roofing now has a full siding and windows division. That's right, All Pro Roofing is not just about roofs anymore. All Pro Roofing, now your trusted partner for commercial roofing, multifamily projects, exterior siding, and windows. AllProRoofingLLC.com.
License number CCC 1327056.
CDC 060138.
The next time you have an orthopedic injury, call Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. That's what we do. I'm Bob Arablo, president of Your Jacksonville Icemen. We've been using them to take care of our athletes, and you can rely on them to take care of yours.
This is Dr. George Acevedo of Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Thanks to all of the athletes who ask us to help them get back on their feet.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Every weekend is a Stone Cold Sports Weekend. Hey, Dan Hicken here. Watch for the Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll help you put together your sports weekend. Weekend with Dan brought to you by Stone Core. We do the outdoors better.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Toilet or shower not draining? Water bill high? So many issues you want to cry? Call Mr. Rooter of Jacksonville. Have your number 2 business serviced by your number 1 plumber. Let us do your dirty work. Call us today.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. So get this, last Tuesday my phone almost crashed from all the buzz. The station posted my post-Awaken 180 photo on social media, and wow, did people take notice. Friends I haven't seen in a while were texting me, Mike, you look fantastic. How did you do it? That's what losing weight and looking healthy does. People take notice and are genuinely happy for you. They think I put a ton of hard work in and it paid off. Well, here's the kicker. It did pay off, but with Awaken 180, there's no hard work. Jacksonville is now taking my word for it. Friends, listeners, coworkers are starting Awaken 180 and getting the same results I had. Our own Matt Hayes, he's down 16 pounds in just 2 weeks. Another buddy of mine is having his consultation this week, starting the program the day after Thanksgiving. What's stopping you? Reserve your consultation today. Get a jump start on your New Year's resolution, already down 25 pounds. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. Or go online to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. myweightloss.com.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
It doesn't get any better than live country music. Enjoy Daryl Ray at Players Grill Miramar this Friday at 7 p.m. with discount cocktails while the local star rocks out. Players Grill Miramar, where the neighborhood meets.
This is my bar. This holiday season, sit back and enjoy your time with family and friends. But if you have relatives who always point out the stains in your garage, or friends who talk about the cracks in your patio, we're here to help. Shark Coatings can coat your garage, patio, or driveway before those folks come over for holiday dinner. So now, instead of politics and religion, you can talk about how Shark Coatings transformed your home before the pumpkin pie is served. Shark Coatings, we're ready when you are.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Right, Frangie Hayes Carline. RJ Saunders, Lauren Brooks has got the hour off. She'll host Helmets and Heels with me and Taylor coming up in just a bit. Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud. How fun will that for a quarterback guy? You got to be jacked about that one.
That's going to be a blast. I loved watching Trevor this week.
Yeah, he looked good, didn't he?
Yeah, I didn't watch much of CJ. Seems like CJ's taking some more shots than what he took early in the year, I think, and it's showing in the interception numbers. Yeah, but it's also showing in some big plays too. But I thought Trevor looked fantastic. I don't know. Being at the game, sometimes you can get a feel, but it looked like they just had a really good rhythm.
I thought he did too. I think, look, one thing about Trevor is he really doesn't care what other people say. He doesn't care about the national analysts. He's just a regular guy that goes and plays. But he's human.
Yeah.
He heard it.
Yep.
He heard all the stuff. Hayes, I thought he had a fantastic game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, franchise history. Yeah. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. His mobility seems like it's finally back, and that's such a good thing to see.
Yeah, and I think that Zay brings such a neat component. And it's not even like Zay is the guy that they're missing. It's that position, because when he's on the field, what do you do? I mean, now you've got him, and you've got Kirk, and you've got Ridley, and you've got Etienne, and you've got Ingram. Like, defensively, you're very limited to what you can do defensively, especially with the kind of receiver that Etienne is. So I just think it gets them into much better rhythm. They know what they're looking at.
Danny, what you've watched Trevor. You're a quarterback trainer forever. You've watched Trevor since the day he got here. What are Trevor Lawrence's best attributes, and what are his weakest? And I know there's not many weak ones, but if you had to go up and down, it's way easier to find the good ones on him. But how would you assess him if you were just coming in and nobody knew who he was?
Well, I'll let me rephrase. I'll start with the weakness.
Okay.
So the weakness is that he really likes to look at that first read.
Okay.
And he also is at a point in his career, and I don't mean it like an Arden Key way. Like, I thought that was a little weird coming from Arden
like
Key.
A cheap shot,
yeah, that when I say that, I don't think that Trevor's completely comfortable protection-wise, and say it's like if I go from 1 to 2, what's about to happen? Yeah. Like, so that's what I mean. And then the other thing that I think he needs a little bit more on is he's got great pocket awareness, but he doesn't throw a ton of balls out of the pocket. Like, he's either taking off and running, but when he does throw out of the pocket, it's big plays. Think back in London, some things like that. outside of that, everything else he does is elite. Like, there's not like a strength. Those are two very minute. And I think he would tell you that mechanically sometimes going left can get a little funky if he's not really, really aware and open to that throw. But outside of that, man, this guy's the real deal, and those things can be worked on very easily.
Elite arm strength, elite size, elite intelligence. You know the other thing that hazes about him? I don't know how much this matters. It's got to matter because speed matters in football. He can outrun just about every quarterback. He may not be able to outrun Lamar Jackson, but he can outrun as far as straight-ahead speed. Quarterbacks aren't ever fast. Lamar's fast. The quarterbacks aren't he's a fast quarterback. I remember when Jeff Driscoll was at Florida, there was 1,000 things he wasn't good at.
Right.
Remember how fast he was?
Yeah.
Though? Remember the run against Vanderbilt, I think it was?
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, I think Trevor, I think one of the best things, I don't know how much it matters because he's not there to run. He can really run.
It's just such a great option. That was sort of Trevor's point, after the game, is it's just nice to have that option available.
Yeah.
I don't normally need it, but it's good to have it. And when and he was pretty honest. He was like, it was frustrating when it wasn't there. When I was dealing with the knee and kind of worried a little bit about, I could run straight, but moving laterally on it was an issue. And now that it isn't, yeah, I mean, it certainly showed in his play. But I think C.J. Stroud's underrated in that regard.
No,
too,
no doubt.
right?
No doubt. And just to put a bow on Trevor, the thought on Trevor, that's what I'm talking about when I say when you get out of the pocket, you're a real run threat now. Like, everybody knows that. So we may be able to slip some big plays in there behind that alley guy that's coming down to tackle you, right? And so I think that will continue to evolve. But yeah, CJ's the full package.
I was going to ask the same question about him.
He's not as fast. He's not nearly as fast.
Right. I agree.
And the other thing that Trevor does really good, by the way, is when he never really takes that big hit when he's running, which is wild because he's so long. You would think he would, but he's got great body control. CJ takes some more hits. And that's something like with Anthony we got to work on. Like, you got to get a little smaller here. You're a big guy. CJ takes some hits. I am interested. I'm obsessed with CJ, but I'm also interested to see in the pressure of this game against a really good team that you really can't afford to waste possessions. Do you play as free? Are you taking as many shots? Do you tighten up a little bit?
That's a great
If he plays as free and he hits these, man, this division is going to be a absolute dogfight for the next 10 years.
Remember now, he almost beat Georgia.
Yeah.
It was a 50-yard field goal went left.
Yeah.
Or he beats Georgia. I think he's a really, really good quarterback. How do you feel about all the late hits and the roughing the quarterback for getting called?
I'm like everybody else. It's out of control. It's ridiculous. The penalty the other day, they got to play football. If you want them to just touch them, then just tell them. I just want you to tag them or just push them. Quarterbacks don't like it either. It's
That's
not
a great point.
Yeah, it's quarterbacks want to be football players, and part of the allure of this is that I got the crap knocked out of me, but I rolled over and saw that it was completed, and now I'm part of this thing, right? Like, this isn't. I get it's a safety thing, but at the same time, everybody understands the risk when they walk on that football field, and you can make it as safe as you want to be, but it's almost like there's a narrative going that quarterbacks are pushing. We're always going to ask for the call because it's a free 15 yards, but don't make the mistake. Quarterbacks want to put their head down just like everybody else does.
It'll be a lot of fun. Jags beat the Texans?
I think so. I think they beat them pretty convincingly.
Right.
I think Jacksonville, that San Francisco game is going to end up being a really good thing for them.
FSU beats Florida?
Yeah. I don't even. What's the line on that?
6.5.
I'll take it. Yeah.
You laid the points all day long?
All day, without thinking.
Denny Thompson, Talking Quarters. Denny, thanks.
All right, guys.
When we come back, we'll wrap the program. We've got a Take Flight and a whole lot more. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The big college football game this weekend is in Ann Arbor as Michigan takes on Ohio State in the game, and both teams undefeated at 11-0. The winner will have an inside track on the playoff and will play in the Big Ten title game against the Iowa Hawkeyes next week in Indianapolis. The Wolverines are a 3.5-point home favorite, -108 against the spread. Ohio State getting 3.5, -112. On the money line, the Buckeyes +134, the Wolverines -162. The over-under is at 46.5. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Hey, hon, the sink isn't draining well. Kind of makes it sound like this.
What's that sound again? Sounds like hair down the drain.
Mine?
Well, I'm no pro. We should call Duck Duck Rooter and make the sound for them.
Duck Duck Rooter. However you describe your plumbing problem, we have your solution. Duck Duck Rooter. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
904-862-6769.
Elevate your driving experience with Osteen Volvo Cars of Jacksonville. The Osteen Volvo team is a key piece of our community, and when it comes to cars, excellence is non-negotiable. Visit Osteen Volvo on Phillips Highway, online at osteenvolvo.com.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Our card show this month is 2 days at Showtime. This Friday it runs from 12 to 7 p.m. and Saturday 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Over 15 tables of sports cards. Connect with the hobby community this Friday and Saturday at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Follow the Bulldogs as they guard their championship trophies.
It's the quest for a three-peat. I'm Andrew Gibson. Can Georgia win 3 in a row? I'll tell you what you need to know on the Bulldog Report.
Brought to you by Travis Cummings and the Bailey Group on 1010XL.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it. They do it, whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
There's no way to prepare for the impact an accident makes on your life. That's why we've spent 40 years getting ready for that moment when you need compassion and immediate action. The right doctors, investigators, our team of experienced attorneys, and your free consultation is already in place. So if you've been hurt, remember, the Farah Safety Net is right here to catch you. All you have to do is call Farah and Farah. It's what we built. Jacksonville.
Rock Resurrection Tour, starring Theory of a Dead Man and Skillet. Friday, November 24th, Daly's Place. Same night, same stage. With special guest Saint Asonia. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Theory of a Dead Man. Skillet. Together live.
I'm Tom Coughlin, founder of the J-Fund Foundation, helping local families tackle childhood cancer since 1996.
And I'm Dan Hicken, asking you to be there for these kids November 29th on 1010XL.
Thank you for supporting the J-Fund.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you tired of being late to the game because you're stuck in traffic looking for a parking space? Well, join the thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smartest way to get to Everbank Field is on JTA's Game Day Express. Shuttles run from 5 locations around Jacksonville. Passes start at $10 and are available exclusively on the MyJTA mobile app. Visit JTAFLA.com for full details. The JTA Game Day Express, where you're winning before the game even starts. Your Game Day Express is sponsored by the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens.
Get into the game at Best Bet. Come enjoy the best in-card games, hospitality, and fun at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. You don't have to be a poker pro to have a great time. Featuring poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow. Wager on exciting simulcast races and enjoy delicious food and drink. Our card rooms are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Houston Texans beat the Jaguars in Week 3 by a final score of 37-17 here in Jacksonville. Jaguars tight end Evan Ingram this week in the locker room was asked if this game against Houston is about payback.
It's the next game. We got to go win it, but for sure. They came in there, they handled their business here on our home turf. It's a division game. They're rolling, we're rolling. It definitely matters, and we have to respond. We have to respond after a great win yesterday, but we got to respond to the first time we played them. So it's a big game. It's a huge game.
Evan Ingram this week in the Jaguars locker room on Sunday's game against the Texans. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Doors, please. Time now for the SkyLife Elite Take Flight Moment of the Week. SkyLife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
Here's a shot for Smith. He's got it! They're going to mark him at the 1. And you know what the Eagles do from here.
Yes, we do. They score a touchdown to win a game, a big game in Arrowhead. An amazing play, Jalen Hurts to Devonta Smith for 41 yards to the Chiefs 1. And what a win. Big help to the Jaguars as well, in terms of chasing that number 1 seed in the playoffs. So congratulations to Philadelphia. Unbelievable comeback win against Kansas City. And that is our Take Flight Moment of the Week, presented by SkyLife Elite. Again, if you're tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers, call our friends at SkyLife Elite. You literally drive to Craig Airport, get out of your car, get on the plane, and go to your destination. Give them a call at 490-9332.
Gotta tell you, I regretted almost not taking it because I know I thought about it. Even out and back to Fort Lauderdale is a pain in the butt now. Commercial flying.
Oh, was it bad?
It's just commercial flying is just a pain, and
Right.
I just, for whatever reason, and no one's trying to get it wrong, but
Yeah.
but flying charter, now that it's more affordable than ever, what people need to do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
call SkyLife Elite's what they need to do.
Yeah, and you can find them flyskylife.com, and also they're on Instagram. So give them a shout.
Are the Chiefs are good. They're obviously good. They may have the best defense in football. But something's maybe it's the receivers, and I know the guy Valdez-Scantling dropped a touchdown to win it, and then on 4th and 25, the other guy dropped the pass.
Yeah, Watson. Congrats, RJ, on the game picker up.
Yes, I got to go through picks tomorrow, RJ. You did very well. Stopped you from having a 6-0, by the way.
It did.
So, but you've kind of put some distance between yourself and most of us. But the Chiefs. What do you think of the Chiefs?
They've got real issues, I think, in terms of pass catchers. Kelsey is starting to look, dare I say, a little old.
Yeah.
I thought last night, he just doesn't. He's 34,
right?
And he's talked about retirement, and it does make you wonder if he's still obviously a great player, but has he lost a little bit from last season? But really, it's been the fact that their wide receivers have just been so disappointing. I mean, Mahomes puts it on the money to Valdez-Scantling. He drops what would have been, probably the game winner. You've got Watson, who had multiple drops. Sky Moore hasn't really become anything. They took him in the second round. The rookie Rashid Rice, I like. I think they probably need to up his snaps if he can handle it, because I think he shows potential, but it's just stunning. We saw it a lot in that division this week. Justin Herbert was really let down by some drops in their loss. So I would expect the Chiefs and the Chargers to be looking at receiver upgrades this offseason. But particularly last night for Kansas City to lose that game in Arrowhead. I mean, I was really surprised. I felt confident that the Chiefs would get it done, and particularly when they were up 10.
Right.
Up 10
at
Arrowhead, and you don't win that game.
Yeah, I know. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll keep an eye on it. College basketball, by the way, Florida State is playing Colorado. This Noles run ranked 3-1 after getting blasted by Florida last week and haven't played a great schedule yet. Colorado, though, is ranked 18th in the country, and Florida State leads them by 2, 51-49, and now 53-49. So a 4-point lead for the Noles over Colorado. They're playing in Daytona.
Oh,
and,
wow.
How about that play? Now, they just went on a run. Now it's 55-49. But so they took a lead on Colorado. I want to watch this because I want to see if FSU has a bounce-back season. Obviously, they had the tough year last year under Leonard Hamilton, or one of the worst years in their school's history. But right now they're leading a ranked team. They're playing in Daytona at the Ocean Center at the Sunshine Showdown or Sunshine Slam basketball tournament. So it'll be interesting to see if FSU's better than they looked against the Gators that day.
Well, yeah, because this would be a Tier 1 win. And so that's, that obviously it's before Thanksgiving. Yeah. We don't really have to get into those kind of victories.
But you want to figure out who's good and who's not.
But it is, this is a win that come Selection Sunday. If Florida State's sitting there, on the bubble, it'd be a gigantic victory to be able to go back and have that on your resume. So it'd be outstanding for Florida State. It would show a lot of resilience because, the game against the Gators was, that was a first-round knockout.
It was bizarre. They were down 36-9 to Florida and 52-22 at the half. Like I said, Leonard Hamilton said after the game, he said, "I've never been down in all my years. I can't ever remember being down 30 at the half in a college basketball game." So he said that's how well Florida played. But watching the Noles here, I don't know how good Colorado is, but the Noles have looked good in this game. Now, this game's been on the entire time we've been doing the show, and Florida State's looked pretty good today here.
Yeah, they really have. And again, Florida, it'll be interesting to see going into tomorrow night's game against Pitt. That's a 9:30 start, by the way. So
in New York, in Brooklyn.
Yeah, late start tomorrow night. But Florida is 11th in the country right now in rebounding margin at plus 14.
And they were so bad last year.
One
of the worst rebounding teams in the country.
Yeah, and that's with 2 games against Virginia and Florida State. So Florida's only played 2 games against really inferior competition. What's interesting about tomorrow night's matchup, and we'll have tomorrow's show to break it down further, Pitt is 2nd in the country in rebounding margin. But they've played only bad teams.
Yeah, they
so Florida will be their first test. But you've got 2 so far of the very early part of the year. You'll have 2 of the best rebounding teams in the country going up against each other, but Florida more battle-tested than Pitt so far.
Pitt played they played JU, and they played who's a mid-major, and they played some young teams as well. It won't matter to anybody else. I'm a diehard baseball fan. But Willie Hernandez died at 69 today. Willie Hernandez is is a World Series MVP, is a closer. He's a left-hander that threw this screwball that nobody could hit. You probably don't remember him. I played for the Tigers.
Yeah, I had his baseball card.
Okay,
he had kind of the
had bushy
puffy,
hair. But he was a left-hander that died today at the age of 69. He was pretty good.
Yeah. Wow, 69. How about that?
Yeah. So he died young. So tomorrow will be our last day this week. Obviously, we'll all be off Thursday, Friday for the Thanksgiving holiday. We'll do our picks tomorrow. We'll be live at the Bartram location, right, of Island Wind Company.
That's right, Bartram tomorrow.
We look forward to that. And we'll talk more Jags, Texans. And again, I started the show with this. My friend Mark Vandermeer, the play-by-play voice of the Texans, the only one they've ever had, said this will be the biggest Jags-Texans game in the 44 times they have met. Think about that for a second. I was excited about it anyway, but I'm real excited about it now.
Yeah, he's right. I can't think of another one that would remotely challenge this. It's probably going to decide the AFC South. It's definitely going to decide it, I think, if the Jaguars win. If the Texans win, then I think it ensures the AFC South race between Houston and Jacksonville is going to go pretty much all the way down to Week 18. So it will be incredibly exciting. I'm curious to see what kind of crowd Houston has for it. Hopefully it won't be too electric of an environment, but I think the Jaguars are going to be sharp. I think they're going to play really well.
And I tell you, if you win this one, then you get that nighttime crowd. You get that Jacksonville nighttime crowd, and you get Cincinnati without Joe Burrow, and you're 8-3 with that coming up. Oh, boy. I mean, we already know it's a special season. But, I mean, right now, look, it's conceivable, and I know Kansas City plays a very playable schedule the rest of the way. Everybody's talked about how easy their schedule is by their standards. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. They could lose again. And if Jackson, and I'm looking ahead, football players can't do this, but radio hosts can. If the Jags win this game, again, you come home to play Joe Burrow-less Cincinnati on a Monday night with this place going, those Jaguar people going crazy down there in that stadium. You know they will be. You might wind up playing Baltimore on a Sunday night for home field.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a I mean, think of it. Even if it doesn't play out exactly like that, even if the Chiefs run the table and they're going to have obviously head-to-head over you. But the fact that we could be getting to a December Sunday night showdown with Tirico and Collinsworth, with Lamar Jackson and Trevor Lawrence, with the winner possibly having home field throughout, how good is that?
It's unbelievable. It'll be the best December that I think we've had here in 23 years.
Yeah.
In terms of football, real football, high stakes.
Yeah, it's real high.
Because this time last year, the Jaguars started their surge, but it was still like, yeah, but boy, it's so far off. And 17, this was sort of the time. But you never were contending for home field in any of those years. And so, I mean, the stakes have never been higher. I mean, since 99.
Yeah, so, we talk about fun times and exciting times, and I'm excited about getting on that plane. I'm excited about getting to Houston. I'm excited about going in there. It's going to be nice weather because it's indoors.
Yeah.
So, I really am, and I think it's a payback game. The Jags, by their own admission, probably weren't ready to play the Houston Texans. Doug's even kind of
I think
alluded to that a little bit.
Evan said the same thing, that they were sort of sleepwalking, and
Yeah.
they're not using that as an excuse. They're just like, it's our fault.
It's self-assessment, right?
Yeah, but
it's
we
not a
slept
bad break,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, who thought that the trip to NRG Stadium on Thanksgiving weekend would be this gigantic game, the biggest one these two teams have ever played against each other, and one of the biggest games of the year, if not the biggest game of the year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who had that on there, as they like to say, bingo card?
It's the magic of the NFL. You just never have any idea. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. RJ, let's do some takeaways.
Now, today's takeaways, brought to you by Key Buick GMC, where our family dealership has been helping families buy vehicles for over 50 years.
My takeaway is credit to the NFL for not flexing Cincinnati and Jacksonville out of Monday night. I was worried, but they are using the flex for what it is designed for. It is not designed for, hey, a star quarterback's been injured, so let's flex the game out. It is designed to keep a meaningless game from being in prime time. The game is very meaningful. At worst, Cincinnati's going to be 5-6. They are still going to be in the race, even with Burrow out for the year. And obviously, the Jaguars are in fantastic shape. So cannot wait for that Monday night vibe when Cincinnati rolls in here for Monday Night Football.
Let's say hello to Taylor Dahl.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping 1010XL talking with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
You cook the turkey?
I do not cook the turkey.
You cook
I eat the turkey.
Are you a good cook? Are you a cook at all?
I do. I love to cook, but I've never had to make the full turkey yet.
Right,
I'm sure if I could do it, I could do it, but I'd rather somebody else do it and me eat for now.
You ever eat turkey anytime other than Thanksgiving?
I love turkey, so
you like turkey.
Again, I don't think I don't go buy a whole turkey or families do that, but turkey subs are my go-to sub when I go somewhere. In general.
Okay.
Yeah, turkey over ham for me.
Okay.
What about stuffing?
I'm not the biggest stuffing fan personally.
So you don't have stuffing in the middle of March?
No, definitely not in March.
How about cranberry sauce in August?
Does anybody eat stuffing outside?
That's kind of the question. Does anybody
that was the whole
does
nexus
anyone eat
of
this
the show.
other than Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I do not eat stuffing any other time. I don't eat cranberry any other time. I don't even really eat that on Thanksgiving. I will have a little bit of stuffing on Thanksgiving because I feel like if you put gravy on anything, it makes it taste better. So just drown the stuffing in gravy.
Put gravy on all of it. Pumpkin pie, everything. It's okay. All right, how you doing? You all right?
I'm good. I'm great, actually. My brother and sister-in-law had their baby baby number 2 this afternoon, so we're still celebrating a little. They're still at the hospital, obviously, but we've been waiting since Saturday. It's kind of been like, okay, it's coming. Yeah, they're in town, so extra celebration this holidays with the new baby.
Exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah,
that's really
super
exciting. Aunt Taylor's got another niece or nephew.
Another nephew.
Another nephew.
Yep. So 2 nephews now on the way to building my offense of some football team.
You know what? I like it. I like it. Very good. All right, the tough loss for the Bears.
Yeah, that was a frustrating one. I would rather lose by 30 than lose like that, especially with how they were playing. The Bears looked really good, and Justin Fields' first game back, and he looked awesome. So it's one of those games where it's just you had everything. Coaching screwed it up at the end because they settled for field goals on 2 4th and 1s. Why would you do that? That right there would have sealed the game. So there was just multiple moments in that game where bad coaching decisions led to the Lions being able to come back and score 10 in 3 minutes.
I got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know the Jags play at Chicago next year?
I do.
So, party?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Hayes, what do you think?
Sounds great.
Let's put together a party. We're gonna go. We're gonna go. Rush State and Division.
Okay.
Is that still a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Rush. You ever been there?
Hayes
couldn't handle that. You and I.
Count me out. Sounds too cool.
But we're gonna go. We're gonna go to have a steak at Gibson's. We're gonna all go.
Yum.
What do you think? You like the idea?
Yes.
Let's all go. Let's
I'm
go
down.
for a whole week.
I'll be up there for sure.
You got to go to that one.
Oh
right?
yeah, can't miss that one.
Absolutely. All right. What's coming up tonight?
We'll obviously recap the win for the Jaguars. That was fun. Look ahead to this weekend and kind of see, talk about the importance of the game this weekend and some of the expectations. And C.J. Stroud and the Texans, they look pretty good. C.J. Stroud is in the top half of a lot of the statistics when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So that will be a pretty big talking point tonight. And then a little bit around the NFL in general. It looks like there's a lot of teams that are dealing with some big injuries. And then in addition to that, I feel like we still haven't quite seen a team where you're absolutely blown away week by week. And it's odd. Usually you kind of have that MVP winner that you know is going to be it, and that team that's really set to where you're like, okay, this team should win the Super Bowl. I'm not sure we have that. So we're going to take a look around the NFL and see maybe some of the overreactions of some things that have happened. And then college football, Florida State this weekend with, unfortunately, no Jordan Travis or Graham Mertz. So we'll talk about that and some more college football. And so a lot of football pretty much. Oh, and Thanksgiving, our power rankings for our food.
Power rankings. All coming up tonight. Thanks, Taylor. Taylor, Mia, and Lauren. They'll have Helmets and Heels. That comes up right now. All right, one more show for us this week. We'll be live at Island Wing Company in Bartram. Come by and see us. We'd love to have you hang out with us for a little bit as we get ready for Thanksgiving. We're out of here. For Hayes, for Lauren, for RJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.